Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Usual Suspects Halftime Show. We got some faces tonight that you know and some that you may not. So, first of all, I'm going to bring in the man that brought us all together, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. If I can find my cursor, Mr. Fours FX.
Hey, man.
Drinking water because bread makes you fat, right?
Correct. And carbs are evil.
Right. So next, we are going to bring in the Kentucky Kryptonian. You all know him as Syndicate Custom Relics. How's Preston?
How's it going, man?
Good. You?
Doing good. Glad to be here.
Right.
What's up, buddy?
Another Friday night live stream.
Yeah.
Next, we are going to bring on the real Jakku Drunk Trader, or as we know him, the Wild Man.
Just Wild Man.
Mr. Wild Man.
Because Lipton is yummy.
Lipton is yummy.
Lipton is yummy, he says.
All right. So, a new addition to the stream tonight. Somebody that the community probably knows, but has not sat in with us. We are going to bring in Jim from Fulcrum and the Force. How's Jim?
Jim's good. I'm proper British this evening. I'm sat here with a nice big cup of tea.
Well, I mean, when it's 2 a.m., what else are you going to do, right?
Right.
So he made it a little earlier than we all expected him to. We have Mr. Hectic Sabers himself, Jeff Birch.
What up, guys?
Hey!
If that's the problem, I can leave and come back.
No, it's
What's
not a problem
up,
at all.
Hey, guys. Mr. Mayor, pleasure to see you this evening.
Yeah, thank you much.
So this is the big story, Jim. If you don't, I mean, you probably don't follow Chris.
Wild Man.
I don't blame anybody.
Chris is actually running for mayor of his hometown as a write-in right now, so
Nice.
we're all pulling for him.
I got
Go
target
ahead.
on my back. I go running around. Hopefully somebody will shoot me.
So how is everybody's week, being that it's a lovely Friday night?
It's a bit of a cold here.
Hiring.
It's a bit of a cold.
Just a little bit, yeah. It got cold. Did it get cold up by you?
Oh yeah.
So you don't know. I'm in Jim. I'm in Montana. Jeff's in Canada.
Southern California.
Yeah, we don't talk about
Sunny and
people.
warm.
Yeah,
Nobody
the
likes
guy that doesn't get snow.
So yeah, or water or electricity, but you know but they're happy.
Or
So-
fresh air.
We're like 50 miles away from each other. So, but he's in another
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah.
we throw rocks
And
at
they-
each
and
other.
they-
Well, I mean, I throw rocks at them, but that's okay. Love
And-
you.
Yeah,
and
the Canadians
just
don't do
opened up.
anything back. They're too nice.
Yeah,
No,
that's
yeah.
Just like, oh, sorry,
I
Ian.
mean,
Yeah.
our
He knows.
our navy consists of one ship, so you know what are we gonna do?
During World War II, they were at the beach. They had
Yeah.
towels and they brought stuff. It
Yeah,
was
and
nice.
umbrellas and
Put it down.
cute little fruity drinks, and
Sipping on Mai Tais.
We're here for the fight, right? Is that what that's about? You know, 'Cause they were still British at the time and during World War II, so they did have a British accent.
that's right.
Unless they were French, but then that's the whole other part of Canada. Jeff's not in that part, are you? No, you're British,
No.
right? Quebec.
Yeah.
No, Quebec is French.
Yeah.
You're French, really? Is that French?
No,
I thought, oh,
no, I'm in Alberta.
Alberta.
Yeah, that's directly above you.
Right. Is that a French? That wasn't a French province, is it? To show you how much I know about the country.
Quebec is the only
Yeah, well,
province.
for me, I don't even know what Canada is.
Now, hey, fun fact, fun Marvel fact. Okay, Wolverine's arch rival Sabretooth. Sabretooth is from Alberta.
They both are
So-
actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
They both are actually. Fun little Marvel fact. Yeah, we got Wolverine. What do you guys got?
I got a Wolverine
Well,
running
that's
around the backyard
That's-
just the other day.
I've got I've got the mouse.
everybody
I've got a smaller mouse.
else. You've got the original mouse.
Yeah, he does.
Still don't
Yeah.
know what the gray stuff is. But
I don't.
you didn't look it up, did you? We do this all the time. It's just one of those things, Jim. You'll get used to it. Just dive
Yeah,
in.
it's all good. I will be with you. I'm trying to get into my groove. It's very late. I was this close to napping. Do you know what I mean?
It's
just
2
like- I'm
a.m.
like,
Oh,
2 a.m.
yeah. I'm
There's-
winding down. You know, you guys are
There's-
like, oh, it's Friday night. I'm like, it's Friday morning.
That's it.
You
There's
know?
nothing wrong with naps and snacks, Jim. Nothing.
Naps.
Yep.
So, I guess we can all add, since we've never really talked to Jim and we want to learn. The guys in the room definitely want to learn more about you.
No, they don't.
No, yeah, they do.
Yeah, no, dude.
We all do.
No, nobody needs to know more about me.
You're actually a pretty interesting guy, believe it or not. I mean, if y'all can see the
You can't go live and just lie to people like that. That's not okay.
the collection of Lego he's got going behind him.
Yeah. Sorry, I just knocked out my my camera.
That's
Oh,
not
no.
good.
There we go.
There
I'm
you
back. I'm back.
Much better. And
Yeah, by all means, fire any questions away that you might have. I don't know how I'm interesting, but sure.
Well,
Are
I mean,
you
kinda-
talking about all my stories about like working on Batman and stuff? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I have.
Oh,
not
okay.
heard.
Well, let's not worry about that this evening then.
Right, because you used to be in television and film.
I did.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
So that might interest Preston over there in his little hidey hole. Preston is like, when it comes to font guys, Preston's our DC font guy.
Ah,
He
nice.
has a Superman font. He has an Aquaman font. He has.
I was looking at them
Wonder
today actually
Woman.
because I'm doing a series on my YouTube where I'm going to be demoing out of universe fonts. So I was looking at all the DC ones because being a huge DC nerd myself, you know, I'm like I'm gonna grab all the DC ones, you know.
And you and I.
Vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
It is coming.
What? When did you start that?
Like a month and a half ago. I'm a very slow worker because it's a side project. You know, it's not a commission. It's just something I'm working on the side. So it doesn't take precedence. But yeah, I'm working on it.
Excellent. Can you stop, please? Stop. 6-year-olds, I tell you. Okay, good night.
Bless.
Right. So we're not going to do any spoilers because I know, Aaron, you have not finished. We just talked about it. You have not finished Titans.
I haven't
Right,
finished
so-
Titans either.
Since we're on the
Okay.
topic of DC,
I'm not saying anything.
I won't say anything.
I have to wait for my eldest because me and him watch it together.
so
That's
how
it.
far have you?
I have to
be
Are you
worthy.
in season 3?
Yeah, no, I'm only one episode behind.
Okay.
He's like me and my brother.
So Did you and your brother get a chance to watch it last night, Preston?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So
So as he comes through the door, it's like
it was amazing. That's all I'm gonna say. But unfortunately, it's going to be tough to wait for season 4.
it's always tough the in between seasons. Luckily,
Yeah.
Flash comes on next month, and you get all the stuff coming back, so you get stuff to get you through.
Oh, Jim,
So
we got one of your favorite people in the room. So first of all, we've got the Blues Brother YouTube watching, Preston.
What up, brother?
And next, one of Jim's favorite people is Izzy.
Not one of my favorite human alive.
But you know what? We have tried to get her on here a few times. And I mean, if she's watching and she wants to
Every now and again, she's like a live stream ninja. Every now and again, she'll pop on and be like, "Ha ha," and then go again. That's what she does.
She tends to hang out in the comments here, either between my stream or Forza's stream, fairly regularly, which is awesome. So Izzy, if you're still there and you want to jump on screen with us, let me know and I'll send you the link.
She can't say it's too late because she's got Jim.
Well, yeah, because she's in the same country as Jim, so she can't complain. She can't complain. Oh, it's too late.
Right.
So
she's gonna DM Jim and be like, "What the hell?"
Right.
Make me look bad.
She's gonna DM somebody. Jeff, how was
your week? Meh. Traveled, but I'm home now, and I'm working on a little something. I'm going to show off a little later. I just needed to get away from it, and I've done something I've always wanted to do, but until this new group came along, I really didn't have a reason to do it. So now I do. I'll share it here in a little bit. I'm almost done.
That'll be stellar.
That was well cryptic. I loved it. You're like, there's something. I'm not going to tell you what it is,
guys. Go.
But there's something.
Right. Peace out. So what's Chris working on? Is Chris working on anything tonight?
I never work on anything.
I know. Chris
I'm like the slacker on the group. Dude, there is not an inch in my shop that has something not on it.
What? And how many unfinished projects do you have going on?
No, I don't. I have customers that will kill me if I said that they were unfinished. I can't say that.
No. I meant personal projects.
They're so close. 95%.
I can't do personal projects. Let's see. I got that going today, and it's
that crystal chamber you sent me a picture of.
Yeah, this is one of them. It seems like they're like Doritos. When people order one, they order like several sabers with them. It seems to be NFL. But anyway, you get a blue. Wow. So I got the Profi with the pulse, and then when it ignites, the focal point up on top, and then that.
So in case you haven't guessed, Chris builds lightsabers.
Kind of, yeah. I do stuff.
Kind of. He actually color work, just so you know.
I got because I dropped the kill key and my floor's white and everything's white. So when you drop a kill key that's white, yeah, they can't find it. I'll find it tomorrow. I'll be sweeping and I'll pick up. So that one's almost done, but I've got an issue with one of the fonts, so I got to go back in and I got to tear it. The Roman's Inception is very tight, even with the chassis. I mean, to have a crystal chamber in it and an 18650, it's not cram-fu, but it's really close to it. So the gear section actually holds the chassis in place. So the set screw that holds the CoverTech wheel locks the chassis down. Plus the two that lock the box down also lock the chassis down. So that's 3 points of contact. And then, but you have no access, like zero access to the board. and because of how thick it is, how minimal thickness that it is, the board is like sandwiched inside. So what you've got to remove the board to get at the card. So I got to not tear it all apart, but tear it down. The one font. And Aaron, that one also got me with the recharge point. I did the recharge port thing again. 1,000 sabers and that recharge port for some reason is like my kryptonite. I always switch the grounds. Always. Drives me bonkers.
Right. But it's good now, right?
Yeah, it's fine. But on something like that, when you like yours, same thing. Yours is a little bit easier to access. That thing is a nightmare to get into. So it's a very thin and dainty saber. So it is what it is. Oh, and I did something else. I had a little bit of a challenge. Challenge accepted. A gentleman asked me to make him a star pillar that was ultimately weathered. Can you see that?
Oh, wow.
So,
nice.
Then he also wanted, the weathering with the real brass or real copper on it.
That's cool.
So it's just a hammered copper that's electroplated. So
sweet.
This will be another project. And I did a couple boxes. Well, I didn't do anything special on I did a Kenobi on because he got a really clean 89 sabers that he wanted installed. So I did a really clean box. Normally I burn it and make it look, kind of aged. But this is just a very clean box. And where is the mystery machine? Oh, the car outside. Yeah. I was working on my Trans Am. It's the first time I've actually sat down and worked on my car in like 2 years.
Right. So we're gonna fire some questions at Jim. Questions that everybody else.
I'm ready.
Everybody else in the room has answered. What was your pivotal Star Wars moment?
Oh, that one's the easy one. 1983. My dad took me to see Star Wars, but he took me to see because Return of the Jedi came out. In the UK, they did a special where they did a run of New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi. My dad took me to see all three of them in a row, and I was 5, and I sat through the entire lot, and that just kind of set me off for the rest of my life, pretty much.
It just snowballed from there, right?
Yeah, I do actually, in fact, have the poster up that they did for the UK thing. It's like a once in a lifetime special 3-in-1 program. I still got the poster, so that was it. That was Star Wars for me, and
I could not imagine. My kids are 6, and I could not imagine taking them to. You're okay, Jeff. Just don't forget to turn off your mic and your camera if you have to go to the bathroom.
Got it.
I could not imagine taking my 6-year-olds to 3 Star Wars movies back to back.
Right.
I just could not.
And I just sat there quiet through the whole lot because it's Star Wars. And it was the first time I'd ever been to the cinema. And it's the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. And from the opening moments, obviously where Vader comes through and the stormtroopers are there, I was hooked. And that was back in the day where we used to have breaks in the middle of films as well.
Yeah,
so it'd be like, so you'd be like, my dad was a hero. Me and him, we actually saw every Star Wars film when they came out. So when they re-released them, me and my dad went back and watched them again. And then when the prequels came out, we went and watched them again. Unfortunately, he passed away before the sequels came out. But I was able to take my kids to see the prequels. So, it was all kind of like this whole thing, and it passes on to the next generation. And that's me. And that's everything for Star Wars. For me, is it just gives me all the best memories in the world. So
Right.
I agree.
Favorite Star Wars character?
Luke Skywalker. Not even a question. What are you doing?
If favorite out of the 9 movies, which one is it?
Return of the Jedi.
All right, I'll give you that.
I mean, these are softballs, mate. Come on, bring it on.
If you could pick your personal lightsaber color, what would it be?
Purple. It's my favorite color. It was my mum's favorite color. I don't know if you guys know Braden, Phoenix Saber Fonts. He built me a blade style that's a purple smoke blade, but then when I swing it, it turns green. Nice. So that's pretty dope.
That's epic.
Because green is like, when I think of lightsabers, I go green because I'm like, it's Luke's saber, green. But for me, purple's my favorite color. So I was like, let's just mash those two colors together and see what happens. It worked out quite well.
Okay, so other than Luke Skywalker's, I'm gonna say Return of the Jedi hilt, favorite lightsaber hilt. Because I know you're gonna say Luke Skywalker's V2 from Return of the Jedi.
Well,
so we gotta pick your second favorite.
I mean, okay, so my second favorite's probably gonna be Ahsoka Tano's from Rebels.
Okay.
Followed by Kanan's from Rebels, followed by Vader's probably.
See, everybody knows I'm an Obi-Wan guy, so.
Oh, I mean, I love Obi-Wan's, but it's the same as Luke's, but Luke's is better.
Wow,
sorry.
That hurts.
I had to. It is.
That hurts,
it is.
Jim.
I mean,
that
no,
hurts,
because
Jim.
it's inspired by Obi-Wan's, and that's nice. But you know what you do? You take a design and you make it better.
No, Izzy, I'm not going to ask Jim about the sequels. We know how Jim feels about
I enjoy the sequels. That's why she brings it up, because she knows that I enjoy them, and she's like, "You're so wrong." Everybody's like, "You're so wrong," and I'm like, "Hey, man, it's Star Wars. I don't care. I like it all." Is it how I would make it? No. Was it the story that I wanted? No. Do I enjoy it for what it is? Absolutely, I
do. Well, and that's the thing is it wasn't exactly we wanted the direction it to go or for it to go, but I think overall, it wasn't horrible. It definitely could have been worse.
That's a rave review, isn't it? Well, it could have been worse.
It definitely wasn't
Attack of the Clones. 2021 review.
Yeah.
It wasn't Attack of the Clones, right, Jim?
Oh, I hate Attack of the Clones. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's how you trigger Jim, Izzy.
Oh, I hate it.
You bring up episode 2.
Yeah, no, I can't deal with it. I'm sorry. It's just rubbish. I still enjoy it. No, I don't. That's a lie. I'm sorry. I can't lie to you people. I enjoyed small snippets of it. But if when I'm watching the films, I do tend to skip Attack of the Clones.
Right.
Because nothing in it.
Preston, you got anything for Jim? Come on. I know you got something. It doesn't even have to be Star Wars related, because he, in case the people in the room don't know, not only does he have his Fulcrum and the Force podcast on Star Wars, but he also has Earth 9, which is a DC podcast. So, Preston, fire away. We are here to talk
favorite
all things
DC
nerd.
character and why.
Superman, because he's the best. And loads of people don't agree with me on that one, and that's totally fine. I know everybody likes to say Batman because nobody's got their own ideas, and that's fine too.
Right.
You know, I'm fine with that.
How
I just find I like Batman. I just think he's overused.
There we go.
For me, it's Superman.
It's
Dope. You see, I'm my boy. It's Superman followed by Nightwing. Easy.
nice.
Although I did work on Batman Begins, and I'm in Batman Begins as well.
Dude, that's sick. So,
So that one gets a pass for me.
What was that like?
We
Like, was it just
It was
hectic?
all right. It was quite boring.
wait.
Really?
Were you in the Chicago area, or were you in England?
No, it was all filmed in most of Gotham was filmed in a massive hangar in Bedford, which is about an hour outside of London. And that's where we did most of the streets of Gotham. And basically what I just was moving stuff around on sets and whatnot. Most of my days were spent pushing the Batmobile around. There are worse days.
Right. Right.
Yeah, definitely. There's worse things you could do than push around the Batmobile.
Yeah, but the thing is, I worked in TV and movies for like 12, 13 years, and the thing about working on movies themselves is, in theory, it's great fun. In reality, it's really boring because most of the time you're setting up, you're rushing, setting up a scene, and then you just stand there quiet for the next 3 hours while they shoot it.
Right.
And those days are long. You know, they're like 17, 18-hour days just doing that. And it's just like... So I worked on Batman for like 6 months, and then I moved on and I did Tomb Raider 2, and then I did Willy Wonka, and then I left the movies and I went into TV. So it was fun. It was fun while it lasted, but it was one of those things I'm like, I don't belong outside. I should probably be behind a computer.
Right.
So I got into editing. That's kind of what I did.
There you go.
Works better.
So do you get into the comics at all? Like, I would like to know, what is your favorite like storyline from the comics?
Oh, that's a very good question. It does change because it depends what mood I'm in mentally. Death of Superman will always be quite high on my list because it's a definitive moment for Superman, and I think it changed what everybody thought of the character at the time. But I do quite enjoy Batman, Superman, Supergirl, that whole run as well. The artwork by Michael Turner was just absolutely sublime, and he was my favorite artist on Superman. So that kind of has a big part for me. And oh my god, there's so many. There's so I've been collecting comics since I was a kid as well. Like okay, so my dad was a legend, right? When I was born, he bought me a Superman comic from the month I was born. So I've got a Superman comic from August 1978, and I've still got it. And so I did that when my son was born, and I named my son Reeve after Christopher Reeve. So it's all,
that's cool.
It's all kind of a big thing in our house. It's just like, what is it today, Dad? Is it DC or is it Star Wars? I'm like, hey, man, it's all good. So, I'm big into the comics as well.
That's like a day in my household. That's like what's on my TV all the time. DC or Star Wars. Like, that's all that needs to be on there.
That's all that you need in life, I think.
Right. Yes.
So anything DC. I'll tell you what, I did really enjoy the Injustice comics, like the entire 6-7 year run of that they did, isn't it? I loved it.
And did you see they just released the digital movie of the Injustice?
Yeah, I watched it the other day.
How was it?
Yeah,
like, without spoilers,
it's good. It's really good. I get sent them from Warner Brothers to do reviews on my other site. So,
that's sick.
It's good. It's good. So if you've read the comics, it's very, very similar to the comics. It's similar to the comics up until the game starts, and then it differs from the game, obviously, because that's an impossible storyline to do. But it's good. They should have done it in 2 parts, I think, but it's good. I really, really enjoyed it. It's brutal. It's as brutal as you would want it to be.
That's awesome. That's sick. That's great, man.
Yeah. She is a live stream ninja. She is an absolute live. She's always around, never in them.
And now we've got Russell from Wade Sabers in the house. Izzy says
Red Sun's
Superman, Red
a
Sun.
classic. It's a classic. Yeah.
So, one of my sons' name is Oliver. So, can you guess who my favorite DC? You betcha. Hence the reason I bow hunt.
Nice.
So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
My nephew's son is called Oliver after.
Nobody gives Green Arrow enough love until they did the Arrow show.
I don't know, man. I thought he was quite boss on Smallville.
Yeah, Justin Hartley did a decent job.
And Justin Hartley does the voice for Superman in the Injustice movie as well, which is really good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Cole Weathers in the house.
Hey, Cole.
Cole is everywhere. Cole is everywhere you want to be, right, Aaron? He's our new Discovery card.
Nah, he took Eddie's place, is what he did.
Yeah. And Cole is going to be slaying it in the comments again tonight, I bet you.
Without even batting an eye.
Just like last weekend. Chris, questions? Follow-ups?
Questions. Me? I figured we were going out of Jeff. All right. I wasn't even thinking about a question. He answered everything that I wanted.
I see. I'm not that interesting. See,
no, you really are.
All these questions. I'm not. It's just because it's the British accent. It makes me seem a lot more intelligent than I really am.
And he's humble too, people.
What was I getting?
All right.
Go to Jeff and then come back to me.
We'll go to
I'll
Jeff.
come up with something. My brain wasn't even. I wasn't even on.
Mr.
Is
Birch.
it ever?
Someone who doesn't answer the phone. Yeah, okay.
Oh, I deserve that. I am such a horrible friend. You can ask Aaron too, because I like.
We're
Monday
about you. You don't answer the phone.
Monday morning to like Friday at 6. I'm just nonstop going at it. So I
posting videos. You're at a wrestling match. You're doing this. You're doing that. Don't hand me that. You can
Friday night, and the other ones just don't tell my boss. All right, Jim. So when I hop in these, one of my things is I like to research and see, who's going to be on the show, what they're about.
Oh dear.
And
this is where everything gets untangled. All right.
I want to know what you're about. Why are you here tonight? What do you feel? What do you do? What do you offer? What is Jim in the Star Wars community?
What am I? I don't know. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot who spends too much money on Lego and lightsabers. That's what I am.
Well, I mean, aren't we all?
Aren't we all? Right?
Yeah.
What?
And excessive stuff.
That's such a meta question. And now I'm going to start questioning my entire existence. I don't need this at 2:30 in the morning. To be honest, man, I'm just here to spread chill vibes. That's what I'm about. I don't get into arguing with people about nothing. I'm like, everyone has their things, and I'm totally cool with what anybody is. I do my videos on YouTube about Lego and about Star Wars. That's just me. I love Star Wars, and that's what I'm about.
That's good. That's a great answer.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So in case you don't know, Jeff, if you've ever watched any of my YouTube videos, my newer ones, and Mike's newer YouTube videos, the man responsible for the logo that you see up in the corner of the screen is right beside you.
Okay.
He did my logo. He did my intro. He did Mike's new logo painstakingly. He did Mike's new intro. Because he's got the background in TV and movies and working on computers and animation and like, and
I
he
do a
did
bit
it
of
out of the
everything. I'm
kindness
like
of
jack
his
of all
heart.
trades, master of none. You know,
Nothing wrong with that.
He's just a great individual all around, and I mean,
I'm gonna start blushing.
I mean, I don't know how many times on a weekend I've just called you up and on the weekends on
It's a
Instagram
lot.
video call. Yeah, it's good though. It's fun to hang
Hey,
out.
I'm all for it. No, it is fun to hang out. I enjoy it. It's always good. It's always good to have chat with people that you wouldn't necessarily meet in real life, you know. And I think that's why I enjoyed this sort of community so much, is that I've connected with so many people across the world that I would have never met normally, you know.
Yeah.
And it's awesome, and I really like that. It's the best thing. This is the best part about the Star Wars community. There's a lot of bad parts, and I try and stay away from those. But when it's good, it's amazing.
What you just said, I've got a premonition of like a month from now that being like somebody's YouTube quote that Jim said, like, this is the community. Like somebody's trailer for come watch more of my videos.
Right.
Hint, hint, Jeff.
Right.
It's okay to be innovative, but it's never duplicated. Be an innovator, and everybody else can follow you. So I do have a question. I had to think about this for a while.
That sounds ominous.
Because you look more intelligent. I mean, intelligent because of the speech.
Oh no.
We're gonna have a pint one day.
Yeah.
Except
Absolutely.
Involved. Jeff, the Birch is not. No, he's mad at me because I didn't stop for him the last time. So, who's your favorite Batman?
Michael Keaton.
I love you.
Yes.
I got to drive that car.
No way.
They did a commercial for OnStar. And the guy who did it was Hollywood Mike, a car Mike. He did the Starsky and Hutch movie, hero car that gets destroyed in like 10 seconds because the guy made a J-turn and he made it a little too close to the other vehicles and he split the car in half, just twisted it. So they had to scavenge to try to get another hero car up. And so they did this car and he painted it gray for the commercial. And then they went back to a gloss black because that's what Warner Brothers wanted. So he had nobody with him. He had this car on a flatbed, and they had the Starsky and Hutch car that he repaired on a flatbed, and all of his crew that was supposed to show up at this car show wasn't there. And I'm there early in the morning. I did a Marines Humvee wrap, vehicle wrap when they were first coming out. And anyway, so I was there setting that car up, and he's like, "Can you give me a hand?" I had no idea. I walk around the corner, and there's the Batmobile sitting on a flatbed. I'm like, "Yeah, I can."
Yeah.
The OnStar button was still hooked up. It was actually like when I depressed it, there was a little speaker that I don't know if they did that for the commercial or what, but it was active, and the woman was like hysterical on the phone trying to say like certain lines that she had to read if it was pressed. So they did that. They must have just did the commercial, and then they take so many months before it's inactive again. And so I thought that was pretty funny. But it's bad.
That's cool.
When because but people don't realize like it's all make believe. Like when you look at that car, it's not clean. It's not talking to them like the flames in the back were like they were twin hot air balloon burners, and 90% of the car was fiberglass. And how the car didn't go up on flames was they had to keep moving to keep the flame behind it. And they had a halon suppression system in the car, in the cockpit, and out in the engine and everything else in case it caught fire. And they had a propane tank in the passenger seat. So that's what cooked the flames to get. I mean, it wasn't, you don't see that in the film, but that's what did it. That was the Hollywood magic.
Oh yeah. I mean, most of it is absolute nonsense. they somehow managed to make it look good, though. Like,
Yes, they do.
it is amazing because when you're on set and you're looking at your stuff, you're like, none of this looks real. This is going to be the worst film ever. And then it's Batman, and you're like, oh, actually, it's actually pretty good. Well done, everybody. You obviously know better than me, which is why I'm just moving stuff around and pay the big bucks.
So Izzy has a question of who's everyone's favorite Joker?
Nicholson, and then Ledger.
Preston?
He's Romero.
I don't feel like there's a correct answer to this question.
No, there's a correct answer. There is a correct answer. There's only one correct answer, and his name is Mark Hamill. Period. That's it. There is no other Joker than that.
Yeah, but he was the voice of him.
But
He never played him.
But that's why there's no definitive answer, because if we're talking all the animated stuff, I mean, there's never even been another Joker to enter my head, Hamill's Joker. But if you're talking live action, man, I really liked I get hate for this all the time. I really like Jared Leto.
We're not friends anymore.
I know. I know, it's okay.
I
understand.
Surprisingly, I love.
Look, I'll grab my friendship card. It's over here. I'll grab it. I'll put it up here on probation. I'll put it in the probation box. It's okay.
You put your comic fan card in there too.
Oh no.
So I love
I
love Nicholson as the Joker. But I did not hate Joaquin Phoenix as much as I thought I would.
I'm not smart enough to like that movie. Just not. I watched that movie and I was like, man, I feel stupid. What am I watching?
Blown away by that movie because like every Joker that we've ever had up to that point has been either PG or PG-13. Right? Joaquin Phoenix brought the Joker into like a whole new level of the way he's supposed to be.
I don't know. I mean, Bob, why didn't you tell me we have one of those things? Gun, please. Boom. I mean, it's kind of what he did to what's his name, right? He just walked up and just kind of plugged them up. I mean,
you're my number one guy,
right?
Right.
I mean,
yeah, but I mean,
for me, it's got. I think Nicholson and Ledger are on the same levels, but for different reasons.
Yeah,
Nicholson,
exactly.
because you're like, there's no better way to play that than absolutely insane, and Ledger's because that performance is absolutely
right.
And not to begrudge Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix took it in a whole different direction. It's not. I don't know. To me, it wasn't like the correct story, like what we're used to of how the Joker became the Joker.
No, it's not. But what more of what I'm talking about in terms of him being the Joker is like the brutality behind the character, the brutality that we got glimpses of in Death in the Family, in The Killing Joke, in Titan Season 3, the beginning of Titan Season 3, when you get glimpses of him killing Jason Todd in live action for the first time. That's the direction that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker took. Is it took that brutality up a level.
Yeah, he was definitely brutal, but I mean Nicholson was psychotic.
Nicholson was psychotic in a cartoonish way.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's the difference.
Yeah, but I mean, the Joker is kind of cartoonish if you ever really sit and think about it. I mean, the flower full of acid. I mean, come on.
He is a clown.
He's a clown. He's a
psychotic killer clown.
He just makes art until someone dies. You know, the
And
whole
that
idea.
is very Tim Burton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is Tim Burton's theme.
Well, this is what sometimes I find it really difficult to say that
Right.
there's a definitive version of Joker. Same with Batman. Like as much, we all have our favorite versions. I don't think there's a definitive version of these characters at all because it depends what comic you're taking it from. Depends what route you're going to go down. Like, Joaquin Phoenix is a different version of the Joker. Doesn't mean to say that it's any less the Joker than Nicholson's Joker. You've seen both of those versions in the comics, so it's just like it's which one you prefer, and I think quite a lot of the time it's which one you grew up with as well. You know, and Keaton, Nicholson, that was the first time Batman was taken seriously, and
yeah, because we had Adam West and Cesar Romero up until that point.
Yeah,
not to take anything.
Not that there's
Romero,
anything to take away from those because I think they're great in their place as well. They have their own place as well, you know, and I think that's the beauty. There's something for everybody, and that's what I like.
But in terms of animated, Mark Hamill hands down.
Yeah, I don't think you can ever replace Hamill's voice as the Joker.
No.
Well, can anybody name somebody else that's done the voice for the Joker?
I think Cesar Romero did the Joker in Super Friends, didn't he?
He did it in Batman.
He did that one too.
Yeah.
And I think Kevin Richardson was Joker in Batman Beyond.
No, Hamill was the Joker in Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
I don't think he was.
I own the movie.
Yes.
He
came back in it.
Did he?
Because Kevin Conroy was Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
The older version of Batman in Batman Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another voice of Batman that, you know, I mean, as much as we like Keaton and we like, you know, Christian Bale or even Ben Affleck or the new people that are playing them, Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman. I mean, that's
he's not just the voice. Last year they made him live action Batman.
Yes, they did.
So he's technically both, even though it wasn't like an action scene or anything all crazy. He still was live action Bruce Wayne.
Yep,
that was so cool. That was
cool.
It was so cool. I loved it. I love the crossover events. I can't wait for this next one.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, so it's in 3 weeks?
Yeah, about so.
Yeah.
About three.
Flash Armageddon, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're bringing back. I'm real upset that they didn't. The CW didn't pick up the show, the Black Canary or the Green Arrow and Black Canaries or whatever.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoyed the
that,
pilot.
pilot.
Yeah, that was nice. And then it just kind of, they decided not to go through with it. And I was like, oh man. So when they said they were bringing her back along with Brandon Ruth and a few of the others, I was like, oh yeah. So I'm excited. I always love all they do with DC. I think Robert Pattinson might be really good. It depends. He's done some pretty crazy roles, man. Have you seen that meme out there that's like everybody's talking about this is the Batman we'll get, and it shows a picture of him from Twilight, and then it's like nobody realized this is the Batman we're getting, and it's a picture of him from all kinds of different like real dramatic, serious movies. I think if you're open, I think he'll be all right. You know, everybody's always going to have their favorite, but I think Ben Affleck.
I don't think there's any problem with having your own favorite. I think sometimes it's when people are like, nobody else can do this but that person, and you're like, that's not true. That's not. I'm sorry.
I mean,
you know, this will be somebody else's favorite Batman, and you've got to respect that,
right?
You know?
I feel that way about Hugh Jackman, but nobody's been Wolverine live action yet, but Hugh Jackman. So it's like, I'm like, oh, nobody will ever top him, which I mean, to me, maybe nobody ever will, but to somebody else, maybe one day they do Wolverine and that's like, they're like, oh, he did it so much better than Hugh Jackman. Like, that might be their opinion.
It's we've been through this so many times. It's like for me, nobody can do Superman better than Christopher Reeve.
There you go.
But so many people have done it since, and you're like,
Mm.
they've actually quite a lot of them have done really, really good. You know, like the current Superman and Lois show is phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
And I'm just like,
I
for
love
me,
that
it's
show.
better than like Man of Steel and stuff. Like I like Henry Cavill's take, but it's not what I want from a Superman, and that's okay. You know, because I've got my original Superman, and then with the new show, I think they're really taking it off with that, and I like him. I think he's great.
Yeah, they're building on that new show. I was worried when they cast him about not worried
So
in a
was
bad
I.
sense. I was just kind of worried. I was like, because I watched Teen Wolf and I watched him, so I was like, I kind of seen him in the acting beforehand, and I'm like, wonder if he'll do like all right in the role because it's like a lot to live up to, in my opinion. So he does a real good job. I like it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was still kind of a little bit concerned even after he'd been in Supergirl because I'm like, there's never enough of him. Now he's got his own show and they're doing something different with it as well. He's able to be. He's a fantastic Superman, and he's just an incredible Clark as well. And I think, you know, now he's been able to really get into that role. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah, I like that you see the family side of him in this too.
Yeah,
that's
I
definitely.
like the fact that he has emotion. You see it in his face.
Y'all, me and Cole are going to throw down. I'm just letting y'all know. Me and Cole is going to throw down. He's talking about my girl.
It's the all-time least favorite.
I like Henry Cavill too, and I think Henry Cavill played a good Superman, and even Brandon Ruth, in his own sense, between the transition between the two of them. You know, I mean, Christopher Reeve left us, and you know he was the perfect fill-in. I mean, he was tall. He was, you know.
That's a difficult role to take over as well. It's just like, here you go, you're taking over this classic role, like, and that version of it, and you're like, good luck.
You have to follow Christopher Reeves as Superman.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah, it wasn't coming into a new one like Man of Steel and Henry Cavill. It was like, no, this is basically a sequel to 4, but since he's not with us, like, we need you to step in and be him now. Man, I can't imagine the pressure he felt.
He did well though.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Christopher Reeve elements to it.
He says that Halle Berry is her favorite Catwoman. I think Halle Berry is my least favorite Catwoman, unfortunately.
I think she might be pulling your leg, my friend.
Yeah, she's on my way.
Is because I know who her favorite one is anyway. So yeah,
there's nobody but Michelle Pfeiffer. Sorry, Joe.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle
At
Pfeiffer.
the time, being big screen, she was awesome, I think. But looking back at the quality of the performance, I mean, the suit was pretty neat with all the stitching and stuff. But other than that, I just wasn't a fan of her performance. But I've been keeping quiet. I'm not the biggest Tim Burton fan.
I'm not the biggest Tim Burton fan either. Don't worry about it. And I worked on one of his films.
I don't hate it.
And honestly, like if we want to start talking about Catwoman, I'm gonna have to bring up Gotham because the girl that played Selena Kyle in Gotham,
she was great,
phenomenal. I'm sorry, she blows Anne Hathaway out of the water.
I think I'm looking at her for different reasons, though.
Right.
Luckily.
PG-13, Jeff. PG-13.
Man.
No, I get it. I totally get it.
But that's the beauty with the DC universe. That's why I'm a DC guy. You know, when I grew up, I was going to the comic store and it was all DC. You know, I loved the Marvel stuff. I collected the Marvel stuff. But to me, DC had the storylines, it had the emotion, it had the different character development. And in the DC universe, we've had a longer time to develop things. I mean, they came out with like Hulk and Captain America, and it was cheesy in the 80s and 90s. It was entertaining, but DC had always been the emotional, who are these people? What are they about? where like Marvel was more like, here's all the colors and we're just powerful. So I love the fact that you can have a pretty boy Batman, a gruff Batman, muscles, skinny, you know, having to choose one in the DC universe is rough because it's all good. That's why you like DC.
I wouldn't say it's all good. I think a lot of
Most
us would
of
like
it.
to forget Val Kilmer and George Clooney.
You know what? I didn't think those.
Comic book wise, one of my favorite things about Detective Comics is always in the mind of Batman. You never have you have the story, but I mean, think about writing it that way. You're writing it as first person perspective, but you're also doing it inside his own mind. So it's not what the action is happening outside. It's how he's determining what did the Riddler do this month. You know, how many people did he kill? Who is the villain? You know, and how is he going to go about this? Well, and I always dug that. It was like, you know, like me, it would be like, you know, here I am in the middle of this crime scene going, what did I have for breakfast today? Did I have something to eat? Am I around? What can I get to drink? You know, he's always focused. He's on point. I'm never there.
If I could submit to the jury, please, if you look at what Batman was born from and the old school Batman, you know, Adam West Batman, if you look at the comics and you look at the Adam West Batman, I don't think Val Kilmer or George is going to be very high up from the bottom, but those two movies were the most modern day take on the Adam West Batman, I think. So I didn't hate it for that reason. It was bright. You got to see the definition of the weapons and the people, and the character development was still there. It was cheesy, but so was Adam West.
And so were the comics.
Yeah. So you got to appreciate that little niche.
See,
Plus,
I always stand by the fact that I think Superman 4 and Batman and Robin are two of the worst films ever made, just hands down, right? Doesn't mean that I don't enjoy them. Really badly made, okay? They're just shocking. But Batman and Robin did give us a prototype Nightwing costume with the red bird before they did it in New 52, so I'm going to give them that. I'm not giving Superman 4 anything because I know where it was filmed and I used to live in that really crappy town, and no. It doesn't get past. I'm sorry. I love you, Chris Reeve, but I blame you for that film because a lot of it was your ideas.
Preston, what were you going to say?
Oh, just as a kid, man, I really enjoyed the one with Val Kilmer, but I think it was more because it had Jim Carrey with the Riddler and
phenomenal
Jones as Two-Face.
Yeah.
You know, it was a really, really good one for me as far as like growing up. I was a kid, so I didn't see it with this. And there's nothing wrong. Like, this is how I try to view movies still to this day. I try to view it with a childlike critique because, you know, as a young kid, I didn't critique somebody's acting skills. I didn't critique how the movie was written. I just, man, if I enjoyed it, I enjoyed it. It was a great movie. And I try to somewhat still live that philosophy, though. Bad writing and bad acting is a little bit harder to ignore as an adult now. But yeah. But yeah, I love that. Just because, man, Jim Carrey was great, you know. He was it for me. But I
think Batman Forever is great, and I genuinely think it's a good addition to that universe, and it gave us Robin. You know, it's a nice little addition. Batman and Robin doesn't get a pass. No. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. I mean, you can't miscast that worse. Like,
right?
Yeah,
let's go the complete opposite to this frail old man in a suit that's keeping him alive.
Yeah, he is definitely
nice to see you.
Frail,
no, get out.
And the Batman Forever soundtrack, I would not be a Flaming Lips U2 fan if not for that soundtrack. That's how I got introduced to those two.
It is a quality soundtrack, like from start to finish. Well.
Yeah,
that's one of those soundtracks you can put on, and every track is a banger.
Yeah,
no doubt.
It was the same way with soundtracks. It was the same way with Daredevil. Daredevil had a just awesome
Yes.
Just kicking awesome soundtrack. I love that soundtrack from start to finish too. It's like 20 songs. I love every one of them.
See, and that's another thing, the Ben
Blues
Affleck
Brothers.
version of that. You may not like Ben Affleck as Daredevil. It may have been a horrible, horrible, horrible movie, but as a fan, you're still getting a taste. You're getting a crumb. You're getting fed. So you got to have a little appreciation for it.
I like it, right?
I didn't
I
think
don't
it was
care.
that bad. I thought Ben
I
Affleck
think
did
it's
a
quality.
decent job.
The idea behind it is good. The story's kind
Yeah.
of there.
The sonar, how they did that, I don't
Didn't
think
you-
anybody's done that good.
Then you had
No.
Jennifer
Sure,
Gardner
the
in it.
seesaw scene, we don't need it. Electra, we don't need it.
Yeah, but she was in
I
it,
mean,
and it was.
and I mean,
but look at
up
what
in-
she was wearing. That was
mean-
worth the movie right there.
Yeah.
I didn't
and
have to see
up
anything
until
of it.
Was it?
up
Just
until
her.
that point, the only thing that we had for Daredevil live action was from Lou Ferrigno's Hulk, and in
He was
Trial
in
of the
and he was in the
Incredible
black
Hulk.
suit, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was just wearing a black like leotard with a toque
Mhm.
pulled down over his eyes. Like that's not
Essentially the same
Daredevil.
as the Daredevil
That's like a ninja with
costume
no
from
eye
the
holes.
series. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a ninja with no eye holes, is what it is. So I was not. I mean, they could have done worse. So
Yeah, it definitely could have been worse, but I enjoyed it because, like you said, it'd been a long time since we'd had anything, and that's kind of what gave me hope when they cast him as Batman. I was like, I mean, the action. If you kind of break the movie down past all the stuff and break it down to the action sequences of the movie, Ben Affleck was actually pretty good in those action sequences. They were good. I liked them. I enjoyed them. They were like believable, and I was like, he can be Batman. So
He's a good Batman. He's a really good Batman. The problem is the film that was written around it isn't great, and that's
Right.
the problem.
I'm sorry.
and I mean, I
Nightfall
liked-
is my favorite Batman, and to me, Ben Affleck was the closest thing to a Nightfall Batman. On that edge, slightly over.
Yeah.
I may get hate, but Ben Affleck, I think, is one of my top Batmans. Sorry.
Oh, 100%. I'm right there with you, Jeff. Because
Cool.
we, like every Batman reboot that we get, they retell the origin story. His parent died. He has.
Are they not doing that this time? Did I read
No, I
somewhere
don't
that they're
think
not
they
doing
are,
that
but I
this
think-
one?
No.
This is
I
like
think
year
this
one
is-
Batman, isn't it?
Year
Yeah,
two.
because I think this is
Oh.
this is supposed to be like a prequel to Affleck's Batman, where the bat emblem is actually the handles from the guns that killed his parents. But I think Ben Affleck did a phenomenal job. You get that he's been in it for 20 years. He's tired. He's scarred. He's getting tired of doing it, and I love that whole take on it, where he's almost at the point where he wants to retire.
Right.
I know it's a wish list item, but I'm telling you, if in the Flash movie they got Keaton, Affleck, and Pattinson, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm sorry.
Right?
It's gonna be amazing.
I mean, add Pattinson to the list would be about the only check you need right there. I mean,
Right.
'cause Keaton's in the trailer, and we already know Ben Affleck's coming back for that movie at least.
Yeah.
You kind of hear him a little
Oh.
bit in the trailer. You
I
hear Affleck
wish
talking.
I wish that they would spawn a multi-universe of movies where they can explore different Batmans and different stuff at the same time. So
I guess
they
we
can
got
make
a what if fan.
I like the fact that if I wish that we could see more of Ben Affleck as Batman, like at least a solo movie. Like I was real hurt when they kind of changed directions and all that stuff. Like, because I was kind of hoping to see a nice solo flick, especially after his performances in the previous Justice League, and and Batman vs Superman.
Well, Batman versus Superman, the fight sequence when he goes in with the bat jet and he goes in and he fights all. Dude, that was like the epitome bat fight scene ever.
Right?
You know, I mean, they kind of touched on it with Christian Bale a little bit. You know, how using the shadows and darkness is around them. You know, but they never really did it. And then that fight sequence was like, wow, like that's the comic book right there. Just open a comic book and there it is. And then, you know, we got, like Jim said, the rest of the movie was just, it was written. They tried to stuff a lot into a movie where they should have broken it down and explained more, but they did what they did because that's the one.
I mean, the problem is they were playing catch up, weren't they? They're like, oh, we need to catch up to the Marvel universe. They've done it so well. What can we do? We'll just throw everything at the screen at once.
Yeah, just and whatever sticks stays.
Yeah.
Well, and
now we're left with this universe where you're like, I don't know what is canon and what isn't at this point.
It's a beautiful thing about DC. It's a multi-universe, and people are starting to accept that. It's like, oh, if we don't like this Batman, I like the other Batman because he's in another another universe. So I can like this universe more than this universe. It's like, okay, whatever.
And that's the nice thing about the Flash movie that's coming up is they're kind of tying all those generational multiverses together.
But isn't that what Favreau is also talking about Star Wars? How we can tell Star Wars stories that are in universe and out of universe and bring and kind of give more cohesion, because I thought they were kind of hinting at the fact that Return of the Jedi Luke was the Luke that was in Mandalorian, but an offshoot is the sequels.
Yes.
I think at this point now, since Rebels invented time travel, all bets are off. Do whatever you want. I don't mind. Do it all.
Exactly.
Give me it all. That's all we need. Just do it. I don't care. Whatever you want to do. Is it a new sequel? Fine. Do it.
Just make it a good story. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
And have some sort of cohesion. You know.
Yeah.
A little bit. You can't throw everything at the kitchen sink.
Yes, you can. It's Star Wars.
They have.
Yeah.
Well, like Rogue One. There are those that hate Rogue One, and there are those who like Rogue One.
We always circle into the same Rogue One conversation, and I'm not with you people when it comes to Rogue One. I'm sorry. Rogue One to me is more than just a hallway scene.
I liked Rogue One.
Rogue One is nothing but a hallway scene.
No, I disagree. Rogue One's up there for me. I love it.
See, now we're three against three.
I'm going to be the
Preston has never seen Rogue One. He tried to watch it multiple times, falling asleep. Forrest does not like Rogue One at all. I enjoyed Rogue One because it ties up some loose ends that have been 40 years in the making with A New Hope.
Forrest.
Especially Red 5.
We're right there.
Red 5, go on. He had one line in the whole movie. Red 5, here I go. Get the shield. Done.
How the rebellion got the Death Star plans in the first place.
Right.
If the Emperor is so big and bad.
She magically showed up on the ship with him in the
Cole, you stop it.
It just happened in the background. That's all.
Y'all are like those people that like wash up on a deserted island. You're like, oh man, a cooler full of Subway sandwiches. I'm just gonna starve to death. Like, it's food. Enjoy the food, even if it is Subway.
Do you know how many carbs is in that Subway bread?
Bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat, damn it.
Yes.
Oh man.
The only Star Wars film I don't really enjoy was was Solo, unfortunately.
See, and I like Solo. I thought Solo was
I
great.
don't mind it. I don't mind it because it's Star Wars, but that's not my go-to.
I enjoyed Solo. I think as a film, I enjoyed Solo, but it was unnecessary.
Right.
Solo was a fun, action-packed summer film. It's a blockbuster. That's all it was. Yeah. I don't. Yes, it's a part of the canon universe. Fine, great, but Solo is not a coming this Christmas. Stop everything you're doing in life and go see this movie. So then all the people on the internet can talk about it for 4 years.
Hey,
no, it wasn't one of those. It wasn't that movie. It was a summer blockbuster.
It's down there. I get that, but if not for Solo and if not for Rogue One, we wouldn't see Ahsoka, we wouldn't see Obi-Wan, we wouldn't see all these spin-offs that we do want. So if we pay for the ones that we maybe want, they're going to give us what we really want, I think.
I've actually just realised what T-shirt I'm wearing. It's my Rogue One T-shirt.
Yes!
There you go. See, it was subliminal. That's why I brought us this way. It was subliminal. And I figured I'd get thrown rocks at doing it. But.
So being that we all have, some of us have a similar opinion on Rogue One, and some of us don't have a similar opinion. I'm going to start with fours. Out of all the Star Wars movies, let's say you're homesick, you want to watch a Star Wars movie because you're not feeling good, and you want something that's going to make you feel better. We'll go around the room. What is your go-to?
My feel better Star Wars movie?
Like, what would you go to? You're like, oh, I want to sit down and watch Star Wars. What do you pick more often than not?
Funny thing, Return of the Jedi is my absolute favorite, but sometimes I'll just sit down and watch Episode 3. Just because. It's just because I don't have an answer. I just like it.
Preston?
I don't even know why you asked me this question. I feel like I've been asked this question multiple times in the last few weeks, or at least answered it without being asked. Is 3, bro. It's 3. It's always 3.
I'm going to have to say Return of the Jedi because that's, to me, is the quintessential movie. I love to see the prequels. And it ends right at Return of the Jedi. After that, I like them. I can enjoy them, but I don't understand them. we got into a world that just shouldn't be there, but it's there.
Jim?
Return will always be my favorite, but it's not my go-to comfort Star Wars. It's my Star Wars film. My go-to comfort Star Wars film is A New Hope.
Ooh,
okay.
It gives me everything. It gives me all the feels right from the beginning. On Tatooine and Luke and Obi-Wan, and it's just everything about it just fills me with hope.
Hey, look at that!
Yeah.
You thought about that. That was impressed, Jim. That was good.
Yeah, thanks.
The problem with this answer is you've got 3, 3, and 3. So whichever 3 you pick from, people are going to assume that you're leaning on that 3. So for me, I have my favorite out of each of the 3. But for me, as a dad, as someone that wants to be visually stimulated, and somebody that might be probably watching it with somebody that isn't a deep-rooted fan, that just wants the visual and a little bit of the history for me to enjoy, there is no other feeling that I have in the back of my mind like I did at Star Wars celebrations in Chicago when Rise of Skywalker, the trailer was debuted. And when I watch that movie, the joy of that convention comes back to me. And I enjoy the movie. My kids enjoy it. My wife enjoy it. You don't have somebody bored in the room because they're a different level of fan.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
No,
I think that's a great,
I
great
respect
answer.
that answer.
So
that is an
my
awesome
kids,
answer.
the new trilogy is their trilogy. At the end of the day, every trilogy is going to be someone's trilogy. Mine is the original. I'm not the world's biggest fan of the prequel trilogy. I like what it brought us. The films themselves, I think, 3's great. The end of 1 is good. The lightsaber fight is good. Let's give it that. 3's great, but it's what it brought to us. It brought us Clone Wars. It brought us, everything else. But for them, the new films are their trilogy. And like I asked my kids, what's your favorite Star Wars film? Rise of Skywalker, because that was the first one my youngest saw at the cinema. And I'm like, fair enough. And he's like, I like Rey, and I'm like, that's cool. That's your story, man. And the beauty of that is they're not bogged down in everything that we are. When they're like, oh, well, actually, I don't think you'll find that Luke would have been that way. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
See,
That's
in
not my
my
Luke. Doesn't have to be, mate. Doesn't have to be your Luke. Don't worry about it.
see in mine, I'm going with Preston. It's episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I mean, I'm an original trilogy generation. But let's face it, the lightsaber battles in the original trilogy were not awe-inspiring. Episode 3, Anakin versus Obi-Wan, I think, is one of the best lightsaber battles out of all 9 films.
I have to disagree with you. I don't want to, right? But I have to disagree with you because from a fighting standpoint, it's one of the worst. All they do is spin their lightsabers around. Genuinely. So many times. They spin to attack. You don't spin a lightsaber to attack. You spin with the attack. It bothers me how little sense those... I love it. Don't get me wrong. Like, if I'm removing myself
He's
from...
right.
I agree with you. As a combat,
it's just
Empire Strikes Back was brutal. Vader's attacks were not only aggressive, but they were downright obnoxious. I mean, after his overhead blast were just. I mean, that's no.
I'll do you one better, Chris. I'll do you one better. Look, you want something that's quote unquote realistic, like just sheer desperation. Let me swing this thing to survive. It's Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. Rey and even Finn and Kylo, just there was no technique, there was no training. It's just holy crap, I'm gonna die. I better do something, and that was both of them. Like Kylo's like, haha, I'm gonna beat you. And it's like, and the other dude's like, haha, no, you're not. And you're just doing what it's like giving a victim advice. It's like if somebody pulls a gun on you and you have to run away, you're gonna zigzag while you run. You're gonna do what you're gonna duck. You're gonna zigzag. You're gonna twist. You're gonna turn. You're gonna do anything you can to avoid that bullet. So that's what they did in episode 7. They swung and they moved and they dodged and they jumped, and there wasn't any super spinny, flippy dippy, spin around the back tricks and you fight with my teeth, and no, there's none of that. There's none of that. There's no time for it. It's nonsense. It's let me turn this on and use it to survive. For the first time, we got to see a lightsaber as a tool, not as a toy, for real.
Right.
In the original trilogy, and this was an interview with George Lucas that spoiled it for me. In the original trilogy, George Lucas, Chris, you'll remember this. Jim, I know you do. You know this too. It was very samurai, very shogun. It was. Yeah. It was standoff, do or die. Somebody was going to die or lose a limb. It wasn't like that in the prequels. Liam, call your mom. But Jim's absolutely correct. The trailer, the prequels, as beautiful as they were, and even Padme said it herself in an interview if you watch behind the scenes of episode 3, she says it's like a dance. And that's just what Annie and Obi was. It was a dance. It was a beautiful dance. It was an impressive dance.
From
But
a choreography point of view, it's incredible. From a fighting point of view, it means nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, that's what most TikToks are right now. It's spinning round the back, tricky, flippy dippies.
Listen, I've
lot
got
of them.
500 views on those videos. I'm not
I know somebody with 68,000. Was it? God, there's so many people with so many views on that. Like,
crazy.
my
It's
God,
crazy.
it is. It really is.
And it's the easiest thing in the world to do as well.
Which is why TikTok doesn't
The
pay
only
like
thing-
YouTube does.
Speak for
The only thing I couldn't stand about Rise of Puke Walker is this.
Here we go.
When he takes he takes the saber and goes like this.
Hold on,
Oh, you got to
Chris.
finish.
That's sweet.
I don't hear no sound. Get your mute off. There you go.
No, I don't know. I used a really, really old board, so I gotta do some stuff where it's not gonna show up on the feed and everything. But it's that there's a new Cornhorn group, freaking Benji, and I was out of boards and I thought, well, wait a minute, I got this this universal chassis system, so it's just got the plug in it. So I got the plug.
Oh, that's nice.
This weird little 2-switch thing there. I got some more parts coming that are gonna kind of cover some blemishes up. But you just plug this in, and
That's
I
it.
got the stock to it, and I guess I'm now an iJedi cornhole.
Look at you go.
Nice.
So I'll spend the weekend troubleshooting the board and figure out what's wrong with that. But I found a weird switch for it. I'm getting I don't know if any of you ride bikes, but there's this rest to keep the throttle turned. I've got one that I'm gonna put on there. I was trying to figure out a way to make it more handle-like, so I'm gonna go with that throttle. I forget what they call it, throttle jockey or something like that. But yeah, I finally got one. Benji showed me a couple years ago his, and I've been salivating ever since trying to make one. So finally,
Amazing. I
Looks
love
good.
that.
Cole says he'll forgive you for the Anne Hathaway comment for that saber.
thank you. And with that, I do have to say that I promised time with my kids before bed, and we're gonna watch a little bit of SmackDown. So
Nice.
it has been
Jeff,
great
we gonna see you Saturday?
yeah, I think I'm in town. and
Halloween
everything.
extravaganza.
Oh, that's
Halloween
right.
Extravaganza.
Yeah. So thanks
It's-
everybody for
It's
letting me
going to be
hang
a
out.
costume show.
Thanks for joining us.
Jeff.
Bill.
You know we love you. You know you're part of the family, and you're always welcome.
Appreciate that. Nice to meet you, Jim. Mr.
You
Mayor.
too, buddy.
See you guys.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
See you, Jeff.
All right. I'll actually answer this time.
You're right. All right.
Bye,
Love
Jeff.
you. Night, Doodle.
And then there were 5.
See,
Bye, Cole.
in my real job,
Oh,
I drive.
Cole.
Bill.
I build lightsabers on the side. With Cole's here.
Bye, Izzy.
And so texting and driving when you're running 80,000 pounds really isn't cool. So I call people. He never
Yeah, you
answers.
do.
Yeah,
Ford will answer.
I answer.
I answer.
Jeff answers.
I
answered
usually
something.
call. I've called you on video a couple of times accidentally while you're
Yeah.
driving.
No, I'm going over Dead Man's Pass, which is like one of the worst passes in the United States, and I flip the camera forward on the dashboard. I'm like, Ed, check this out. We're about 7,800 feet. We're going to do a 6% grade for about 8 miles.
And I get to sit in my
So
living
talk
room
away,
and-
you know.
and I get to sit in my living room and talk to Chris and get
Bye,
cards
Izzy.
they call at the same time. So
You get to see lovely
what
scenery.
else?
It's beautiful.
What else? What else is Jim into other than Star Wars and DC, or is that it?
That's it. Nothing.
That's all you
Nothing.
need to be
I have
into, bro.
no interest in anything else in life. Even my kids. No, I'm kidding.
Like I'd sell them for some
No.
really good comics, man.
They're getting quite old now. They're not as great as they used to be. 15 and 11. I'm like, great.
Yeah, they don't want to do much with you at that age.
That's a good age.
No. Yeah, no. It's
How
pretty
far
dope,
away?
actually,
If you want them to leave you alone, it is. If you don't want them to leave you alone, then it kind of sucks.
Yep.
Thankfully,
If you want to spend any time with them, you're like, nah.
Thankfully,
Yeah,
I've got a long way to go before that happens.
You do.
I do.
Cherish every moment, even though sometimes when kids are small, it's tough. I miss it.
Oh.
Like it's one of those weird things where you're like, I miss my kids being small, but I love the people that they're growing into be. But I'm like, I thankfully, when they were quite young, I left my job in TV and I started working for myself. So I've been around the whole time. I'm very much a hands-on dad. Always have been, even though obviously me and their mum's not together. We're 50-50 parents. So for me, I've always been around. So like I was able to really cherish that time. But now they're getting bigger and they don't want to spend as much time with me. There are those days where you're like, do you want to watch a film? No, Dad. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto.
Oh Lord.
Can I play Grand Theft Auto with you? No, I'm playing with my mates.
So we got Mike in the house.
Mike.
In the comments. I don't know if Mike can join now or if Mike is just going to hang out in the comments, but I'm kind of lost without the Anakin to my Obi-Wan there, buddy.
Obi-Wan lost Anakin too.
Have you ever met
Okay.
And so here's another gentleman that I don't think Jim has had the pleasure of meeting and I don't think he knows about Jim. We got Jeremy from Moon's Custom Armory.
Woo!
Hey guys.
It's been a while, buddy. How you doing?
Tired, long days. Been busy. Very busy.
What?
How you guys doing?
Oh, we've talked about everything under the sun tonight.
Oh,
You
then
missed,
some.
you missed the DC. We did about 45 minutes of DC. We've done about 45 minutes of Star Wars.
That was fun.
there's one Star Wars thing left. I sent it to y'all so I wouldn't forget, and then I kept forgetting. I want to know. I want to know if anybody knows if there's any truth to this, and if there is, and even if there isn't, what does anybody think about it? Because there could be truth.
I
Wait,
think
is it
I
the Anakin thing?
it's Hayden
Hayden
Christensen being in Ahsoka Tano, the series, as Anakin.
I can
It
see
probably-
memory
Clone Wars.
sequences.
I am.
I think it would be phenomenal.
100%. I'm 100%. Unless it comes from Disney, I don't trust it. Unfortunately, because but also there's so many rumors and speculation when it comes to shows of who's going to be in it, or this character is somebody, and that ends up leading to some disappointments. I find so.
Right?
I mean, it does make sense for him to be in it.
Yeah, it does.
Especially if they're
be
doing
Obi-Wan.
any flashback stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
to be
okay.
fair, at that point, he can be a.
Yeah, and see, I've heard that the show takes place like a little bit after Vader is actually dead, so a little bit after. It's like around the same time that the Mandalorian is like that, so it's like a few years after Return of the Jedi. And in the end of Return of the Jedi, they went back and added Hayden Christensen's Force Ghost, so he could very well pop up as a Force Ghost now, and it be like legit, like canon. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
So-
could totally see that happening.
Or you can have memories.
Yeah. Or memories, or
Sorry for
flashbacks.
fighting you later on.
Yeah,
Right? So that's the one thing that has always annoyed me, and not to begrudge Alec Guinness, but when they changed Anakin's Force Ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi to Hayden Christensen over the actor that originally played Anakin
Sebastian
/ Darth
Shaw.
Vader. Sebastian
Yeah,
Shaw. Thank you,
Shaw.
sir. Over Sebastian Shaw, it kind of annoyed me and loses continuity when we still have Alec Guinness as a Force Ghost and not Obi-Wan. Or Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but the definition of that is when Anakin became Anakin and not Vader, and when he died, he went back to when he was Anakin. Obi-Wan was always Obi-Wan. He wasn't a Sith. When he becomes Vader,
I agree, but
that's
I would
true
argue
because
that
when
the
his
time
Force
turn-
Ghost was a Jedi version of him, even in the old version, he wasn't all scarred or anything. He was he was back into a Jedi robe style look to him. So yeah, it kind of makes sense that way.
See, and that's always something that's bothered me with the stuff that they changed in the original trilogy.
It does to me too, but a lot of the things is it's more having to do with these actors who have played these characters for years, and all of a sudden, like, only people who have watched them originally will know that they were in Star Wars, whereas people who would watch them now, it's like he could have said, "Oh, I was in Star Wars." Where? Well, they cut my entire scene like 20 years after I had actually done it. And like when I can understand a lot of it, but like changing Boba Fett's voice, right?
Yeah. Well, and that was another thing. They eliminated Jeremy Bulloch's lines in favor of Tamara Morrison.
And actually, I always found
everything.
I found Jeremy Bulloch's lines a lot more menacing.
Yeah.
It's like he's worth a lot to me, right? And when it got dubbed over, it kind of felt it kind of felt like I was watching an English dub of an anime.
Right. Well, and I mean that's because we're all old enough to have seen the original trilogy the way it was originally released.
Yeah,
I miss it.
You know, like
me too.
Aaron's kids and your kids and my kids don't know any different.
my kids do.
The Emperor.
Oh, do they?
My kids do because
Right.
I've got them
Right.
to rewatch the special version. Those are the only versions that exist in my house.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, this is Star Wars. No, get out with your jabber. I'm not interested. Get it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Hate
and
it.
that's why I didn't want to watch Visions. I'm like, you
See,
can't
and I've-
Japanese my Star Wars.
And I've got both the regular edition and the special edition on VHS.
Nice.
And I do have a VCR that works. I just haven't watched them with my kids yet. And once they're a little older, I may go back and do that just to see what their take is on it. Because, like Chris said, we got the paper mache Emperor in Empire Strikes Back. And in the new version, they re-recorded it with Ian McDiarmid.
I mean,
Yeah,
He was
you
like
see-
the wall-eyed emperor. You weren't sure what he was looking at.
yeah.
But you see, this is why I can't watch the special edition, especially I mean, how many times has it been changed at this point? I can't watch the Disney
too
version of Return of the Jedi. I can't. Because my favorite scene in all of Star Wars, doesn't matter what it is, my favorite scene is the bit Luke's getting his behind handed to him by the Emperor, and Vader is there, and you can see he's torn, and he's just looking between the two. And you never needed to add anything to that, George. You never needed to add anything to that.
Nothing. Nothing. Adding the
It was
no destroyed
perfect.
it.
Yeah. So I'm
It
like,
destroyed the energy of the film,
no.
the energy of the mood. And
It's there. It's all there. The crescendo of the music, the reflection of the lightning in his mask.
Yes.
Everything is there. It doesn't need anything else.
Right.
The
No.
biggest problem, I love George. Obviously, I love George. But the biggest problem is there was no one around to say, maybe don't do that, George. That's not very good, George.
What about Mary Jade,
only-
George? You should bring Mary Jade into it, George. Then he
The
loses
only
his
thing
top.
that Disney has done with the 9 movies in the Skywalker saga, we'll call it the Skywalker saga. Jim, you and I have had the following conversation after this point. The only thing that Disney's done is with Rise of Skywalker at the end when the Jedi are talking to Rey. Disney has gone in, and if you turn the subtitles on during that scene, it tells you exactly who is talking to Rey. And you get Kanan Jarrus, you get Ayla Sakura, you get
Ahsoka Tano.
you get everybody.
Qui-Gon,
Yeah.
Yoda.
Yeah.
But they've already confirmed that Ahsoka was not dead. So she was meditating.
During that time?
Yep.
Really?
But
They're saying Ahsoka's not gone. She's not passed away.
And so what I was referring to with Jim, you and I have had this conversation is the Skywalker saga, and the reason I use air quotes, Brandon's in the room. The reason I use air quotes is the common denominator in that 9 movies is Palpatine.
Mhm.
Palpatine's in the original or in the prequels. Palpatine's the protagonist
In 2 out of 3.
in the original trilogy, and you look at 9 and he's been controlling everything from episode 7 and 8 behind the scenes. I don't think it's the Skywalker saga. I would consider it the Palpatine saga
The Sheev saga.
because he's the only constant.
Well, he wasn't in A New
He's
Hope.
the only.
No, he wasn't in A New Hope.
No,
I mean, he kind of was.
no.
He was in the background.
By the way,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
he destroyed the Senate.
and when
Yes,
you look at
he
the
is.
9
He
movies
is.
as
He
a
is
whole,
checked in A New Hope.
He's
but
just
he's the
mentioned.
only constant in the 9 films. It's not necessarily the Skywalker name; it's the Palpatine name and the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And even if you go back to the non-canon stuff, all the way back to Old Republic, the big bad, all the evil was always the Emperor. And it's the same consciousness that is literally tens of thousands of years old, jumping from body to body to body to body to body. He's the same person every single time. And I'm telling you, that's where they got that from. That all that Old Republic stuff was already written, it was already approved, it was already playable in those games. It was already written in those books. Long before Kathleen Kennedy said, "We should bring the Emperor back." No,
Right.
it was already there. It was all there. I mean, that idea was nothing new.
Yeah.
No.
Actually,
And I
it made
mean-
a lot of
and I mean,
sense. I
that's-
mean, they need to go ahead. Look, I'm going to say this, and then that's my piece. Disney's worth billions and trillions of dollars. They can afford to go back to every author of the 1980s and the 1990s and pay them for every word they wrote in every single book, in every single script from every single video game, to own the rights to say, haha, this is canon now. They can do it. They have the money. They should pay the money so that the people in 1987 who wrote those books were like, well, geez, my stuff doesn't mean crap now. You know, the original author of Mara Jade, the original author of all of, you know, Luke and Leia's kids from another universe now, Legends they're calling it.
Yeah.
All that could be canon. All that could just pay the people. Just pay them. You come on, Mouse. You have money. Just pay them what they're due.
Right.
But
I agree.
I think
Not only the fact that then they would own them, but these
Izzy.
people deserve it. Damn it.
They do. They absolutely do.
I think-
The countless hours and days, the publishing, every person involved. Could you imagine, Jim, Chris, Jeremy, could you imagine being there? And I had this conversation with an old friend, my buddy Matt, Holiday 31, the day Disney came out and said, okay, all this stuff isn't canon anymore. My heart went immediately to all those authors from the 80s and 90s, because all of a sudden, it's as if all in unison they were told they don't matter, because they were told they don't matter, and they're not getting paid.
No.
No, just no, screw you.
But no, that's
Have a nice
the thing.
day.
It is a money thing at that point too, because hey, I guess I don't need
Chris.
to pay. Yeah, we have millions of dollars, but we're going to keep these millions of dollars and not pay any
Billions.
of these guys.
Billions,
Exactly.
and billions of dollars, and they can't.
Well, 'cause,
they
I mean-
can't. They can't call somebody into a room and be like, and have a seat, sit down, have a nice conversation. Hey, come on out to California. We'll pay for your ticket, right? We'll fly you out.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
walk you through the park for a day. We'll sit down. We'll have a nice lunch. Let's talk about your work. All right, sir, you did a fantastic job. We've been through this book. We really like the book. Star Wars would not be what it is without you. We would like to purchase the rights of this book.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the amount of zeros we're going to grant you for the rights to this book, on top of the royalties you've already made over the past 30 years. We're going to pay you that much more. What do you say?
Yeah.
They can save Mr. Banks on
Those
that
books
one.
kept us going.
Yeah.
Those books kept us going.
Yes, they
Star
did.
Wars fans.
Yes,
After
they
the
did.
original trilogy, there was nothing. Literally nothing.
They still
Star Wars, after the prequels were done, after episode 2, after episode 3, the only thing that kept my interest in Star Wars was Knights of the Old Republic. That was it.
Great game.
And it was so refreshing. I didn't have to. I went into those games. I didn't have to think about Luke. I love Luke. I named my son after Luke, but I didn't have to think about him. I didn't have to think about Vader. I didn't have to think about anybody. I was so captivated with Kreia, Darth Treya. I was so mesmerized by her writing, by her performance, the music. It sucked me into that universe, and I was lost in it for months. That
Knights of
was
the
Star
Old
Wars.
Republic, the first game, introduced me to number one, my favorite voice actress of all time, Jennifer Hale.
Mm.
Right? Who, of course, she's also gone on, done Female Shepherd and all these other characters that she plays. But I'm like, absolutely, like, that was one of those games that, like, I played it and I immediately played it again. Not many games will do that anymore. It's like, shut it up.
I've just pre-ordered it for my Switch.
Yes.
Because it comes out on the Switch next month.
You saw that on the Nintendo Direct. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, I've got it on my Xbox. Like, I've got my Series X down there, and I'm like, I've got it on there. Sure, I could replay that again. No, I'm going to play it on the Switch this time. Because the beauty of that game is you can do it in so many different ways.
Yes, you
So
can.
well done. And it gave us all of the elements that we always wanted. It gave you all the different lightsaber colors, but not just the lightsaber colors, what they meant. It gave us Jedi Order code. I mean, come on.
Honestly, I never knew what those lightsaber colors. I never knew blue was for a guardian, a green was for a sentinel, right? I didn't know I didn't know there was even a yellow lightsaber at that time. And then they're like,
Exactly.
the third lightsaber color, you got this yellow. I'm like, hell yeah. I kept my saber yellow through the entire thing.
And purple was the recovering dark side addict.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which made sense with Windu. Why
Well, not
his
only
would
that,
be purple.
you also got offhand sabers,
Yep.
Shotos.
right? You got the double-bladed lightsaber. You got offhand sabers. You got vibroblades,
Yes.
right? When you first got a vibroblade, I'm like, ooh, this is cool. And then I'm like, well, reading the description, vibroblades can stand up to actual lightsabers. I'm like, are you kidding me? Right? And I was just like, and then, Malik as probably one of the best villains of any game that I've played.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few villains in games that I remember. But Malik is right up there at the top.
And
Malik
it gave
was
us
phenomenal.
the ability to travel to all these different planets that we'd only ever heard of.
Yeah.
Korriban,
Right.
you know,
What?
the Jedi
Come on.
Dantooine, you know.
Yeah,
And let's say it for the people in the back. Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
Before
Right.
it was
That the first time.
Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got that. I saw this. and I had to
Korriban
go.
with a K.
I had to get the Ebon Hawk.
The
That's
Ebon
so
Hawk.
good.
Right. This thing
That
is
thing is
I need
awesome.
that.
this thing was the best $20 I've ever spent.
Where
on
did
just
you
a little
find
Lego
it?
set. It's on a
He put the link up in our Facebook group.
yeah. It's on a
Chat.
make your own creation or something like that. I think the guy's name was something Belzik or something like that. He designed this one, and I saw it on there, and it was $20 US, and I think anything over $20 is free shipping. So I'm like, hey, I'll go give it a
Happy
try.
days.
I've never heard of this website. What's the harm, right? I got it the other day. It's got like up and down flat, like the landing, the piece for them to walk onto the ship. All the turrets turn
The ramp.
on it, right? It's small. It's cute. They've got bigger ones. Like this was only 300 pieces. They got one that's like 6,000 pieces or something like that.
Ooh.
But yeah, I saw that. I'm like,
No,
I
Jim.
would
No,
immediately
Jim.
take it.
You don't have enough space. You don't have enough
Yeah.
space.
Jim.
Have you seen my desk?
No.
I'd love to show you my desk, but I
Let's do
can't
a little
move.
Hold on. Jim, this is your inner monologue. You need to buy the 6,000 piece Ebon Hawk. This is your,
Do you know
this is
what
your
I
inner
think?
monologue.
I think I need to buy the 6,000 piece Ebon Hawk.
I think you need
So
to
for
buy
anybody
6,000
that's
pieces.
interested-
Good call. This is your inner
think
monologue. Thank
just
you.
think
Sounds
of
like
it this
me,
way.
uh,
You build it on your channel.
Izzy, that was free.
Oh yeah. I mean,
So
if
for
I
anybody that-
I'm not sure I can do this, but like if I turn that around, you might be able to see. So there's the big. My chair's in the way, but there's the big Millennium Falcon.
Dude.
Big boy.
Yes.
And then if I turn it around,
God.
so obviously we got all of that there. Everything's going on there, and then if we turn it around, over this way.
Oh, whoa, look, it's the Death Star from Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Death Star from Spider-Man.
Hey, that's Master Chief.
Yes.
That's Master Chief from Fortnite.
Yeah.
You know, actually,
So for anybody,
Hey.
for anybody that's interested, the site that Jeremy got that off is posted as a banner at the bottom of the screen.
Now, if you're
they
using it
have-
online, if you are posting stuff online about it, be sure to credit the original creator because these are fan-made pieces.
yeah.
They've got creators on them, and these guys designed them. And out of just these guys are sitting there with Lego and just making these things. And then I'm sitting there going,
Yeah.
awesome, right? I never
There's-
thought of an Ebon Hawk.
Yeah.
Right?
I only
Yes,
know of one
they
other
have-
person who has that saber.
because
Legos.
they
Wow.
have the
These are
the
people.
Lego
People
ones,
have
yeah.
I
spent
think
the time.
they had a Yoda
They have a
and
ton of
and
them when you
Obi-Wan
and I were
Kenobi
looking.
on there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I got to call Chris out on something. You know, with all
Vader.
that space and all the stuff that he's into, Chris, I'm really, really shocked that you don't have the first edition, you know, age 17 plus Millennium Falcon that takes up half of a room in 5 weeks to build. Like, I'm surprised you don't have it.
So
Actually, it's only 28
this-
hours. You can watch
Oh.
a fast build of it on my channel.
So
I have- Hold on.
this website, they have Yoda, they have Kylo, they have Ahsoka, they have Anakin's Padawan lightsaber, they have Luke, they
No
have Obi-Wan,
freaking way.
they have Luke's V2.
Now, if you even want to just go down a rabbit hole, not just this website, if you just want to go down a rabbit hole of Lego, just look up the make your own creation stuff.
Yeah.
Like make your own builds and stuff like the or make your own creation builds of these things. I saw one that I want to try. I've got to find the pieces for it now, but they've got the Outrider from Shadows of the Empire, right? I just want to find the Moldy Crow, and I'll be really happy.
I wanted, you know, it's probably available now, but there was never a set created for the bat plane from the first Lego movie, which was one of the most complicated builds they said they ever had to do. And I want that plane.
I've seen
Was
it
that
at the Lego
was that ever
store in
done?
Calgary,
Like, was that ever
and
done as
so
a set?
No.
The Batwing
Really?
from
Yeah, the Batwing from
the
the
bat, the
first.
bat,
From
you
the
can get the
19
Batwing from the 89. I've got that in
the
my
89
room.
Keaton movie.
No, I want the one from the first Lego movie.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
that one. Yes.
Yes. That
Yeah.
one that is the most complicated build I've ever seen.
That
But I
would
want that
That would
plane.
be sweet.
I have
Dude,
the Batmobile from the Lego Batman movie.
Yeah.
I have the Keaton Batmobile.
That is the quintessential Batmobile.
I have 3 RC Keaton Batmobiles.
Nice.
What?
And
I
yeah,
have 0.
I got one that's a kit. And it's really rare because they never released it as a kit. But check this out. Well,
Oh, big puppy.
still kind of
Oh, wow.
in the box.
Nice.
Amazing.
Still in the bag.
You're in.
Oh,
The
nice.
controller
Everyone can
in the car.
see.
So that's kind of
That's nice.
it was they sold a light kit for it. And I had a light kit for one of my other ones, but they didn't hold up for driving. But Richmond Toys made this back in '89, and they didn't make very many of them, but you can still find them from time to time.
Jim, you're killing me, man. I'm drooling at that collection. That is the sickest collection.
So did you see?
Right. It's
Did
all
you
right.
see my slave
Love it.
one, Jim? You haven't seen my slave one yet.
You got
Oh, nice.
matching slave ones.
No, mine's not Lego. I'll grab
No?
mine. Hold on one sec. No.
Uh-oh. And y'all are about to get me back into figurines and action figures and toys and stuff.
Yep.
I'm just
Well,
a
that's the
fan
one you
of
were
this
building the
little
other
guy.
day when I was getting my truck washed.
Mine's a paper model.
That's so good. That's so good for paper. That's incredible.
Oh, I
really
know.
is.
Eh? He showed me that. I was like, "Is that like?" I thought it
And
was
it-
like metal.
And
Yeah,
it's
it looks
so
like
good.
it.
It looks real,
So nice.
and it's
like
just a
it's
paper.
huge.
and stuff.
Yeah, and it's just paper.
Yeah, that's
Like it's basically just it's like a 3D puzzle.
That's awesome.
Isaac, I'm not giving you a choice. You better be there Saturday to get on screen. I'm not even kidding.
Yep.
And it's got the only thing that I'm not okay with is the stand.
Because it says Boba
Boba
Fett
Fett Starfighter.
Yeah. It says
And not
Boba Fett
Slave One.
Starfighter. Right.
So then, what does that make Leia in Return of the Jedi? Is her new name Liberated Leia?
It's not Slave Leia anymore, that's for sure. It's
So, because that'll
it's
trigger
Prisoner Leia, I think.
That's pretty close.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not. There's slight
Oh, Jeff
different
back in the hall.
connotations.
Look at that.
I've seen someone do a.
You should just send me that for Christmas, Jeff.
that.
And if not Christmas, you know my birthday's just 6 weeks after Christmas. So
Maybe
you
I'll
know.
send you this.
It'll take that long in customs, you know.
No, it actually shouldn't. To get from here to Canada is about 3-4
I
weeks.
see your mall picture and I raise you one. Except if you look at the signature right here.
So you're gonna send me that for Christmas too? I love you guys. You guys are so awesome.
Actually,
My
believe
wife
it or
told
not,
me
that
to
was a
make
Christmas present from somebody to me.
You're not helping.
Here's a
Jeff, this is
it's
Jeff.
the
This
show
is the
it's-
best stream we've had in a while, dude. This is a
wanna
really
show-
good one.
Hey, check this out. We were talking about Leia.
Oh my God, I'm ugly without glasses. Oh, don't look at me.
Oh, totally.
Oh,
Gross.
that's better.
Absolutely grossness.
Appreciate it.
Oh my God! There he goes.
Oh my.
Falcon.
Oh my!
That's no move.
Falcon.
That's a
That
space
is-
station.
Almost the size of the Legacy one. That's massive.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, is that the '80s version?
Is that the one that Harrison Ford actually smashed on Jimmy Kimmel?
Yep, it's the UCS Falcon. Yeah, it cost me. I have to try and do some maths because you're American and you don't understand pounds. $800.
Wow.
Yeah,
So what is that? 695
yeah.
I
Wow.
understand pounds
First
completely.
try.
I weigh 300 of them.
I
Dang, Jeremy.
I'm with you. Yeah, that's the biggest set of current got.
Is that so? What edition is that? Is that the second version that they came out with, or
Yeah, so they did a UCS. So UCS stands for Ultimate Collector's Series, and they do
Okay.
that with a lot of things. The Star Destroyer that's currently out. What else? Tentative for R2D2, Slave One. I've got some others, I'm sure. I forget what I've got.
The
to be
A-Wing.
fair. Oh yeah, I've got the A-Wing, the Snow Speeder. So they're like the bigger sets. They're not what's called minifig scale, but they're the big ones. But there's the rumor. It's a pretty solid rumor at this point. It's that 1st of November, so we're getting very close to it. Is a UCS 8080.
Oh, that'd be
Which will
epic.
be $800. Now, I've got the normal version of the 8080 just here. I can grab that.
does it come with Ewoks?
I've got the York Village over there. So that's the size of your regular Lego 8080.
With Luke on the box.
Which is-
That's epic.
Yeah, obviously, which is
That's so cool.
yeah, which is probably the size of a cat, I would say. So
Yeah.
the UCS one's going to be the size of a large dog.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll be purchasing that, and my children.
That's the
won't.
one I'm waiting
That's
for.
fine.
Is the UCS at? That's why I haven't bought the scale that Jim has. Just because I'm waiting for the UCS.
I mean, it's coming. So yeah, I've had to put my Falcon on the floor. I can't put it back where it belongs.
I got mine above my head.
It's too heavy. It's just so heavy.
That's the legacy one, and that thing isn't no slouch either. I mean, it's
right.
And it's
crazy.
That was the biggest one of the largest fights I ever got into my wife was when I bought that thing at Walmart, and I come home with this massive box, and she's like, "What in God's green earth did you just get?" And I'm like, I bought something, and it was I remember it was like $215, and she's like, "You spent $215 on a toy?" And I'm like, "Do you know what that legacy's worth now?" I'm like, I still have the box for it, I'm like, that thing's epic, and and Legos are the same way because they discontinue them, and then they shoot in value, and it's like,
this is the problem I'm currently having because there's sets that I really want I can't get hold of for a decent price. So I realize I've lost all connection to reality when like Lego sets come out and they're like 180 quid, so like $250, and I'm like, that's not so bad. That's when you know you've lost it. You're like, that's a lot of money. What do you mean that's not so bad? It's plastic.
Right, exactly.
But I want the ghost. I want the ghost. It's been eluding me for many, many years.
Oh,
and
now are you a big thing on official ones? That's the other thing. I found a couple. I found the ghosts in there. I found a couple different ghosts on that site. I found what's that one from Force Unleashed? The ship from that one.
I have it. I have the first. Yes, I have it.
Yeah.
It's the only Lego Star Wars set I own.
So for me, I'm like, if it's been released as a set, then I want the Lego set. If it's not been, I'm okay with it being somebody else's creation. So like Ebon Hawk, perfect. Yeah. But the Ghost, it was like it was basically $200 when it came out, and now we're looking at nearly $5. And I'm like, I can't.
I did the Razor Crest from the Legacy Razor Crest. Well, the Legacy one is like for the 4.5 inch or 5 inch figures, and I think when I bought into that, it was you had to pay the whole thing, which was like $375. It's like 4 foot or 3.5 feet. I don't even know where I'm gonna put it. And they're giving you all this stuff with it. They're like, oh, you get, and now because you're at the end of, because there's only like 1,000 of them that are going to be made. It's like the sale barge. They're like, oh, and now that you paid in full, I get the Utini with the egg, the Jawa, the 6-inch Jawa with the egg. They got a bunch of weapons, like a weapons cache for the ship, and I'm like all ecstatic. I'm like, wow, I get all this stuff. I turn on Mandalorian, the first episode, spoof, it's gone.
It explodes. Yeah.
Son, I just spent $300 on a ship. Yeah. My wife's like, isn't that the ship you just bought? I'm like, yeah, it was. Yep.
Now you don't even have to build it, and it's still screen accurate.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I said, I wonder if what I'm going to get now is like a pound of dirt in a bag. Here you go. That's it. Put it out on the floor.
That 1,000-piece Alderaan is still funny. It's just
bricks.
It's the same one.
Bunch of grey bricks.
It's the same. It's almost the same as the city from the final episode of Game of Thrones. Lego set.
Oh God.
I love that.
So, Jim, I asked this before, but I got muted out. Did you ever meet Pierre Picton? You know who he is?
Yes.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah.
So,
just because I'm British.
Well, I got friends that are
other British people.
Well, I'm from New York, and everybody asks me the same thing. Hey, Jim? Yeah, I know Jim.
Yeah, right.
Which Jim are we talking about? No, I've got friends here that are from London, and I've got friends that are also from Essex and out towards the countryside. Being in movies, Pierre is the guy that makes cars fall apart.
Yeah.
So he might be around the set. He might have been able to. Interesting.
Because I only worked on set on 2 films, so I wasn't massively. I mean, sure, those 2 films lasted like a year, but yeah, he wasn't on either Batman or Tomb Raider.
I just figured.
And then I went into I went into post production, so I worked on the editing side of Willy Wonka. So yeah,
good job, by the way. It's actually one of my favorite stories.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Roald Dahl fan, so
Mhm.
and they actually told the full story, which was nice.
yeah, they did the proper story.
Yeah.
What are some other? There's some other ones that were really badly conceived on like Roald Dahl ones. I like the first Witches. I hated the second version that they did. The one with
Anne
Angelica
Hathaway.
Houston.
It comes back to Anne Hathaway. Everything always comes back to Anne Hathaway.
The one I love the one with Angelica Houston. That was great.
That one's scary as all hell.
One of my but the thing is, like, one of my favorite of all the books was actually was the BFG, and then
oh yeah,
I don't know, it was good, but I felt like it was
Big Friendly
that story's too big to condense into one movie. So yeah.
James
No,
and the
I
Giant
agree.
Peach.
I agree. I think the closest one they did was probably James and the Giant Peach.
Yep.
Oh yes, yeah. And the ones they've ruined were the ones that I've seen, but they've ruined was it Jacob Tutu and the Hooded Fang.
Yeah,
that one was. I love the book, and then I saw the made for TV movie. I was like, what was this?
Right.
Yeah.
So were you on the new Johnny Depp version? I'm assuming.
Yes. Yeah,
So-
I worked in special effects editing.
So the guy
So
that did that
basically, my
Oompa
job was basically just to replicate the Oompa Loompa 17,000 times.
So
Oh,
the
really?
guy that did the Oompa Loompas, I've gone back and I've watched him.
Deep Roy.
He was in the
Deep
Never
Roy.
Ending Story. He was in the Never Ending Story.
Yep.
He was a Jawa in A New Hope, and he was an Ewok in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, he goes way back, and I had
Yeah.
no idea he'd been around that long.
People go like, people say Warwick Davis is one of the bigger ones, but dude, that guy's like, he's been in everything, but you just don't see him
You
out
don't
there
know until you
advertising.
know.
Buck Rogers
he's
in the
got a big-
21st century.
Yeah,
He was in that.
Yeah.
Oh, was he really?
yeah. Like he's been around so long and been doing
Oh, I know he's
so
been
many
around
things.
so long.
So-
That it's crazy.
He does live stream a lot, and he's hysterical. He's got a great personality, Deep Roy.
I've never seen his
And
live
he's
stuff.
Yeah, it's only half screen, but it's okay. It's good. You get to enjoy him. You don't need a full screen for him because he's only 3.5 feet tall. I'm just saying.
Oh,
You don't need
there's
to-
a lot.
but he does do-
There's a lot of cheese on that pizza, Chris.
No, he does do live stream though. I'm being honest.
Yeah, but
Look him up
the
on
joke-
TikTok.
there's a lot of cheese on that pizza, buddy. I'm sorry.
But no, I mean,
That sounds. I swear, I felt like I was in the same room as my dad for a second.
Well, I'm older than all
Well,
of
you
you
are
guys. So I'm allowed to be.
You are in a room full of dads. Okay, so this is the
Yeah.
old man stream.
Yeah, right?
This is the old man stream.
Jeff, what have we
Maybe
done?
Preston's the youngest one in the room.
Oh, he feels
Preston
the
is.
age.
Some days.
Preston's still wondering if he's going to get mall stuff for Christmas.
He's pondering it.
Spoiler,
What can I do?
he is.
So, I don't know what your plans are, but I mean, I know we've kind of talked to Jeremy about it. And I mean, a bunch of us are going to meet in Florida at Disneyland first week of January.
Coming to Force Town.
And go to Galaxy's Edge.
I wish I could.
I
Unfortunately,
think I might have to miss that one.
You don't have to, Jim. I mean, you're a little bit on the other side of the pond.
You don't have to.
Skip across the river.
You can work.
I'm already going to be in New York in the first week of December anyway, so I can't then come back again.
So just stay over here for a month and a half.
You doing a con in New York?
Yeah,
or what are you doing?
Job.
Oh, job.
Huh? No, I'm coming over to see friends of mine. I haven't seen them obviously in a couple of years, and I used to go pretty much every year. I'd spend like a week in New York because I love it. It's Long Island.
Here in Long Island,
New Hyde Park.
You're going to be up near Mike.
My aunt lives in New Hyde Park. I'm from Center Reach. I'm a little bit out on the island.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm in grizzly country, and we got Wolverine. Mountain lions. We had mountain lions the other day for school. That was always fun. You send a kid to school with a rifle and say, "Go ahead." If they happen, they happen. If they make it to school, that's good. But if they don't make it, you have to wonder why they didn't make it.
Right.
But no, that's New Hyde Park. New Hyde Park has changed. I mean, I know it's even worse than I left, but I've been out there since 2005.
But yeah, no,
I remember
it's just nice to see my friends. New York City is probably my favorite city in the world. Like, it's weird, isn't it? Because everybody's like, oh, but you live in London. I'm like, yeah, I never go to London.
But London is older now.
10 minutes from the center of London, and I'm like, why would I want to go to London?
See,
it's one of the greatest cities in the world. I'm like, nah.
But if you notice, when you live in a place that is like touristy or kind of like that, when you live there, it's like whatever to you, but to like other people, it's like, oh, you live there, and you're like, meh, yeah. Like,
oh, but this is where so and so. No, this is where I threw up because I was too drunk that night.
I can't get far enough away from Orlando. I hate it here. I hate Orlando.
I always liked Orlando, but again, visitor.
No,
So let's ask Jeremy. Jeremy, when's the last time you went to the Calgary Stampede?
Let me go from New York to Calgary Stampede. That's a fall one.
I would probably say, well, ever since I had kids, probably when my one kid was 5, so 2 years ago, I went. But it's
for us,
it's one of those things I go to for the kids, not for myself anymore.
Yeah.
So
I think the last time we went was 4 years ago.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll go the odd time because, hey, it's the Stampede, and sometimes you gotta like supporting the people that are in your community. So, but
so Jim has context.
Explain to him what the Stampede is.
Jeremy and
I know what the Stampede is.
You do?
Jeremy and I are in the same city.
Yeah.
It's not like they let horses out and then everybody has to dodge them.
Calgary Stampede, one of the best WWE pay-per-views ever.
I knew it was coming.
Stampede Wrestling.
Yeah, right.
Oh, we had the whole idea
what it was.
Representing the Undertaker over here. Come on.
There you go.
No, I know about the Stampede.
Answer
I have Canadian
ever.
friends.
I see. I had no idea what it was. So,
yeah, we're just on opposite ends of the same city, so
we're kitty corner. I'm far southeast. He's far northwest.
But you see, this is where my head explodes. Because so you say you're in the same city, but you're at different ends. But how far away is that? Like, how long?
Okay, city-wise, I'd say about 20 to 25 minutes.
Okay, so that's not bad. Because normally, in America, they're like,
The way
oh,
I
yeah, we're in the
drive?
same state, and they're like 7 hours away, and I'm like, that's not the same state. That's practically a different country. I can cover my entire country in that time.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, like my
If
state
you want to,
is,
if you
is
want to
2 days
talk,
to drive through.
if you want to, we have a building. We have a building in the Northeast that we manage, and for me to drive from here to there and home again, it's well over 80 kilometers, which is like an hour.
Yeah.
It's funny how you say a place can be so big. So like Kentucky, I live in Western Kentucky, and I went to the very, very far eastern tip of Kentucky that borders Virginia and West Virginia. I went right into that little county, and it's like 7 hours away from where I am, maybe 7.5. I can get from where I am to Panama City, Florida, which is like 5 states away in like 10 hours. It's crazy the distance in my state, because I guess there's like a lot of hills and mountains and just crazier stuff. And then like, I don't know. But yeah, I could like wake up one morning and be in Florida by the evening if I drove straight with no stopping. And then
But also, you guys are set up to drive places like we're not.
Right.
Like our roads are awful. So like I can, if I've got a job, so I don't work in London. I work around London. I work for myself. If I've got a job and it can be 3 miles away, and it can take me an hour to get there by car.
Well, that's kind of like Long Island.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. No, it's exactly the same. Like,
yeah,
you ain't going nowhere. Don't worry about it.
You
It's
know,
quicker to walk.
Like I drive a semi, right? That's like my real life job. And I leave here, I go to Washington, which is 2 states away. It's 670 miles. Right? I pick up there, but I'll leave here Sunday and I'll pick up Monday morning at 6 a.m. By Monday evening, I'll be back in Missoula, which is 150 miles from me, but that's where I'm picking my truck up.
Yeah.
Next day, I'll probably make it from there, probably halfway to Bozeman. I'll be almost through the state of Montana. It's 2 days to drive across the state of Montana. 3 full days to drive across Texas. But 4 days for me, I leave on Monday. I'll be down with Fours, and we'll be having lunch Saturday afternoon. And I'll be in Florida.
So
that's 3,000 miles.
End to end, we can drive on a good day. We can drive our entire country in 8 hours.
Right.
That's it.
And they see where I'm allowed to drive 11.
But then there's mentality that says, "Oh, Birmingham. I'm not driving to Birmingham. It's 2 hours away. That's miles away." Whereas you guys are like 2 hours. I could sleep drive for 2 hours.
Well,
we're like 2 hours, man.
Right.
So then, what are you paying? Yeah, but what do you pay for petrol there?
Too much.
Right.
Too much. And also, we're just currently in a petrol shortage. It's a nightmare. I try not to leave my house because there's too many people out there, and I don't like them. Most of them.
Right.
I like where your mind is.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes leaving the house makes me want lightsabers to be actually real, so I could just be like, meow,
and people are like, "Oh, do you want to come out?" I'm like, "Why would I want to come out?"
People.
All my here.
Right.
So to give you a proper answer, Jeremy said 20 to 25 minutes. I Google mapped it, and it's actually 45 minutes.
He said the way he drove.
Yeah.
I missed that. Because
I know.
Here's the thing. If you have to use a map, it'll take you 40 minutes.
No.
I drive
If you
around
do the
the
speed
city.
limit, it'll take you 45 minutes.
Look,
I have been driving around this city since for the last 15 years, like delivering. I drive a 28-foot truck. I've been driving around this city for 15 years. The only time I ever use a map is I look up where I'm going, I put the map away, and I drive there. That's all. I look up the address. That's it. I never have to look at it again until I, unless it's out of town and I got to find it. I very rarely use my map anymore. I know all the, you also got to know the shortcuts in this city. What streets to take at what time.
I get a lot of places in Calgary a lot faster than most people because, I do $1.50 on Deerfoot.
Well, that'll do it too.
Beating the GPS is a sport.
You can't use GPS here.
No.
It's not proper enough.
Nope.
No, my truck is 2 years old, and we have an interchange by our house that my GPS doesn't recognize, my navigation doesn't recognize, and it keeps telling me to do a U-turn because I'm driving into nowhere.
If you look at 90% of the Qualcomms out there, and if you look at all these semi-wrecks, that's the reason why. Because they're looking at the map that's pre-programmed into their system so they can get to these places. And the thing says, make a U-turn now, turn now. And they slam on their brakes in the middle of a 4-lane highway to make a U-turn across 3 lanes, which is totally illegal, and they wreck everybody. That's why I stay away from other trucks.
And you drive a little car over there, don't you, Jim?
Oh yeah, my car's tiny. No, it's compared to your cars, it's barely a car.
You guys drive like Anakin pod racing. Yeah, just about as fast as I can go. No, actually, my car gets a little floaty. About $1.10. It's very, very lightweight. It kind of starts to lift the air. Kind of gets up underneath the car and kind of starts to pick the car up a little bit. It's a little fun. I've only had.
You have a Honda Civic though, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it is not slow.
And I've been told I'm not allowed to hate on your Honda Civic.
I said, I told somebody I had one that looked like it was fast and furious, and it was really slow and like slightly pissed off. The one that I have now needs work, but it is not slow. It's built up a lot. And
my truck's not slow either. I love my truck.
I've raced.
Jim doesn't get the fact that I drive a, big pickup truck with a 6.2 liter V8 in it.
We're Berta boys. We have to drive pickup trucks.
My car's a 1.6.
I got 2.0.
Well, mine's only like.
Well, I also have the.
Yours is a 1. Yours is probably a 1.6 or a 1.8, Preston.
I was gonna say 1.6 or 1.8.
Yeah.
I can't remember right now, but
yeah,
I know that the boost helps.
See, and I know that in Calgary with my truck, I have smoked a lot of Honda Civics.
I'm gonna send you pictures of my Civic later.
You've
hey, wait!
Truck.
Let me send them to you now. We'll just have some more fun in the chat. You can post my Civic pictures. I know where they are.
So I got this in the mail.
My truck is basically an off-road 4x4 Camaro SS.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's so heavy. This is the new Anakin Starkiller's Leia. And let me try to get it up to the light. It's actually fairly decent.
Wow.
It looks sweet.
It's smaller.
There goes his Berta beef.
Right?
I haven't seen one that they've done the color right yet.
Yeah, and this is the this was prototype from Korriban. And
because they either go too bronze or they go too pink with it, and it's somewhere in between.
Yep. This, according to my resources, the only thing I could see that they kind of foobarred on is this ring right here is shaped wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And in here, it's supposed to be 8 points and is 9. Now, I don't know if Anakin did that on purpose just to kind of know that it's his. You know, because he always adds things to his hilts. I have to ask David Daniel about it. But other than that, I really like the size and the shape of it. I really like the mother of pearl.
Mm.
And the coloring I really like. I'm kind of fascinated. He worked a trade with me to install one of his with the crystal chamber, his hero. And so when I got this, I was actually shocked. I was quite pleasantly surprised on how nice it looked. You know, I'm just because I've seen the KR, and I know Cal said that he had the original prop in his hands, but his is way off. This one is close, but according to good friends of mine that he showed me all the points that were wrong on it. And we've got
Nice.
Preston's Civic.
Preston's
But
VT.
oh, that's a cute engine. That's like an APU. I could use that for like AC.
I think you can run the coffee maker in your truck with that.
Maybe.
You can definitely run a little bit more than your coffee maker.
I don't know. What is that, like 20 horsepower?
More like.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, it's so cute.
That's cute.
It's a tiny little car. But it's a lot of fun.
I don't doubt that.
That looks fun. We went from.
I like Honda Civics. I think they're nice cars. They're zippy as all hell.
Mm-hmm.
That's the correct word, is zippy. They're zippy.
They really are. That one, I don't even know how fast that one goes.
Well, I've run triple digits running 80,000 pounds. Let me see what I'm going to do with the way it's set up now. Running 100 at 80,000 pounds. Just shy of 80,000. I think it was 75.5. Coming down Continental Divide at about 105. Let the engine brake rip and then let it rip. Hold on to the steering wheel and hope your tires stay together.
Nice.
Sounds like me going into Cochrane down the giant freaking hill.
Oh, I hate that.
Right, gentlemen, I'm going to have to bow out there because it's 4:30 in the morning.
Jim,
And the
you got to
sun
get
is
some sleep,
beginning
brother.
to come up.
Thanks for
Dude,
hanging
you're-
with us as
you're-
late as
thank
you
you.
did.
You're
I'm surprised
a
you stayed as long
trooper,
as you-
Jim.
I am at the point now where I'm like,
You,
I'm
are a
here.
trooper.
But no, this was fun. I really enjoyed this. It was nice meeting all of you guys. You're good people.
It was
Yeah.
definitely fun hanging out with you, man.
Yeah,
And,
thanks for
Jim,
coming
you're
on.
welcome to join. You're welcome to join on Saturdays when we do this too. I'm hosting that one.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm
You're-
definitely up for that. You know, if you
You're
want to
welcome
move
back
it an hour
anytime.
earlier, you know, that's cool too.
As a matter of fact,
PM
for
start
you,
time.
for you and for Izzy, I was at. We've been in conversations concerning that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, it doesn't bother me because, like, I'm cool. I'm just getting to the point now where I'm like, it's 4:30. I'm starting to see the sun come up. I might need to go to bed.
Yeah,
Just
we're
a
gonna
tad.
we're gonna have more conversations about that. So don't worry.
Okay. All right.
Well,
Gentlemen,
on behalf of
an absolute pleasure.
myself and everybody else on screen, thanks for hanging with us, Jim.
Yeah.
No,
Jim, thank you.
guys.
Yeah,
It's been
it
It was great.
good
And
times.
I will call you this weekend.
Yeah, man. Look forward to it. All right, guys.
Okay.
Night.
Peace out.
Yeah,
Night,
nice
brother.
meeting you.
Super cool, dude.
Loads of fun.
Oh yeah.
Loads
He's
of fun.
awesome.
And
He is. So
I'm
much
not-
fun.
I'm only gonna say this in a biased way for anybody who sees now or later. He's my favorite guest we've had so far for one reason.
He's a DC guy.
Love
He's a
DC.
Superman fan. He said it's Superman or Star Wars, DC and Star Wars. So
How did I
that's
know
why.
that was coming?
But other than that, every guest we've had on the show has been just great, man, and I always enjoy it.
Him and I have talked Star Wars or DC a lot.
And that's always cool to talk just nerd in general, you know.
Yep.
It's
it doesn't
like our
have to
own little,
always be Star Wars.
It's like our own little comic convention on the, you know, our own little reunion to them.
It's our own Comic-Con.
You beat your boss. You beat your boss.
I found my key. I've been looking for this damn thing for 2 hours and I found it finally.
Right.
There you go.
So for all
Because of
y'all
Obi-Wan.
that have not, all y'all, we've seen Preston's car.
He's playing Galaga.
For all of y'all who have not seen it,
oh,
this is my baby.
Oh yeah.
Friends don't let friends drive Chevys.
Oh shoot!
Hey, Ford got it right and circled the problem. And when people couldn't see that, they put it in parentheses.
Ouch. Ouch.
Ouch.
Just remember, Ford was the first motor car company out there. Everything else is just a cheap copy.
Hey, now, what's wrong with Toyotas?
Nothing. They last forever.
Do you know what the emergency repair kit on a Ford is, Chris? A hand grenade. Did you hear that Ford came out with a heated tailgate so that your hands stay warm while you're pushing it in the winter?
Just remember, we're keeping it PG-13, and I won't post half the stuff that I have. But it's okay.
That's
okay. I'm thinking.
You want to start sharing memes? I've got probably 100 Ford memes in my phone. I'm gonna start sending them to you.
What does Ford stand for? Found on road dead.
Yeah, first on race day. What are 90% of your tow
daily.
trucks? They're Fords. Why? They don't stop running.
Take it to the after party, Jeff, quickly.
Right.
It's okay.
We could go on this for a long time.
So on that note, thank you everybody for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. We are going to sign off. So for Moon's Custom Armory, Syndicate Custom Relics, the real Jakku Junk Trader, well, half of him.
I'm still here.
And Mr. Fours FX.
Bread makes you fat.
On behalf
Bread
of
makes you
myself,
fat?
and it does. Bread makes you fat. Thank you all for watching, and may the Force be with you.
May the Fours be with you.